they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Amadaya Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Amadaya Shakur, and this is your Friday or your daily vitamins. Okay, it's not your morning wake-up call because I'm a little late for that. All right, so anyway, I had some stuff going on, you guys, so that's why I'm on here late. My apologies. I was supposed to start this live at 10. Okay, and so anyway, we're going to get into some stuff. How many of you know who the amazing Lucas is? One's in the chat if you know who the amazing Lucas is. One's in the chats. Hey, Cyrus, Khalid, DJ Big Six, Perplex, Pearly, Claudette, 504, Nola in the house. Aquarius Rising, Queen Huey is here. All right, y'all putting one, so y'all know who he is. So I hope y'all follow him. So with that all being said, we're going to go over his video when he was on Piers Morgan. I found it all nefarious, okay? I absolutely love Lucas. He is hilarious. He's revolutionary. He is honest and bold, and he speaks his mind, and I absolutely love it. He reminds me of myself is all I'm saying, okay? He reminds me of myself. So shout out to him, and we're going to talk about that video. But first, let's talk about these cops that lost their lives, unfortunately. Okay, very sad situation. Hey, 504 Nola. Jasmine is in the house, Claudette. All right, namaste. Let's get into it. Everybody hit the like button. Y'all know I love me some royals. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a Hey Panther Strike. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, beloveds. Don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay. D. Humphrey says, Shalom, Shalom Queen, and the number one chat in these YouTube streets, aka the Loyal Royals, but doing business as the nefarious Royals. Not doing business as beloved. Okay, y'all are nefarious. I'll say that much. Y'all are nefarious. Okay, but let me say this. Listen, we had the debate last night. Sadly, didn't go as expected. Martin left early, but I want to say Martin was upset because people said things about him in the chat. You all, please, when I have guests on the show, even if you disagree with them, please let's not call them names. We don't want to offend or disrespect anyone. Okay, I love y'all though. Ha! Thank y'all for having my back. I know that's what y'all were trying to do, but let's not call people names, all right? Now, with that all being said, that crazy bitch Eric sitting up her lying to my face this morning, okay? Or this afternoon. That crazy bitch Eric's talking about I'm not nefarious queen. Of course you are. Who told you that? G from the land, perhaps? He lied, okay? He lied. And so that all being said, D Major Skelly said, Queen, you rocked that debate last night. Thank you. Thank you, beloved. I really didn't like how it went because I was like, it ended too early. I didn't get to make my main points or whatever. And, I guess it was all right. I guess it was all right. If y'all liked it, that's fine. Okay, Mary says, he wasn't always like that, Queen, but something happened. Now Amazing Lucas is all that you said. Okay. You know what? You know what, beloved? What probably happened is he probably woke up. That's probably what happened, beloved. Because when you listen, no matter who you are, if you're a person who looks like me, sometimes we try to view the world through rose-colored glasses, or we don't want to, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt and things like that. But then sometimes you just wake up and you're like, you know what? This is what it is. They're literally showing me to my face what time it is. And so you just have to fall in line and adapt to the situation and decide whether you're going to just, bend, bow, and break, or you're going to stand on all 10. Okay? And that's what Lucas is doing. He's standing on all 10. All right. So with that all being said, D Major Skeller said, Amazing Lucas is now indeed amazing. Okay. Adonia said, I agree. Great debate last night. Thank you. Thank you. Leon said, is his wife black? I would imagine. I've never seen her, but I would imagine she is, beloved. Okay. So let's get ready to get into it. Okay. DJ Big Six said, one day we all wake up. That's right. That's right. Troy said he needs to subscribe to your channel. Troy, I saw your other comment too. I'm glad you put in another one because I forgot your first comment talking about you need that hour back from last night. I'm sorry, beloved, but I can't give it to you. I'm sorry, but I just can't give it to you. I wish I could. Hey, Mad Dog Jax, my aunt Egypt's in the house. Vic's text. I didn't even see y'all. Charlotte is in here. All right, where y'all been at? Okay, DJ The Truth. I didn't even see y'all in here. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Edward's in the house. All right. Okay, so anyway, let me stop playing around because I don't want to be here all day. Big Chief, all American. Okay, they all American. So let's get into it. Hey, Mel and Deronda. All right, so with that all being said, let's talk about these officers that lost their lives. It was so sad. This was basically an ambush. Okay, there was a domestic violence situation where this man was stalking a woman that he hadn't even been dating very long. Desmond said Queen had him running like red from Friday, crying in the car. Desmond, let's not be harsh. Pearlie says, Queen, if the shoe fits, Marlon should wear it. Y'all are nefarious. Okay, Measure Man says, LOL, I caught it at the end. I had been detoxing from social media at the original Queen Amadai Shakur show. It was so confusing. Well, you were so confused, beloved. Yeah, I guess we all were with how it turned out. Sadly, but there'll be other debates, I'm sure. That crazy bitch Eric said Marlon had no facts. D Major says the Queen said no refund. No refund. Okay, so now let's get into it. Okay, so here is what they are reporting. This happened on yesterday. Okay, in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. So in late August, a pickup truck sitting in the driveway of a rural Pennsylvania home. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Okay. Um, in late August, a pickup truck sitting in the driveway of a rural Pennsylvania home was set on fire by an unknown culprit. Even though the woman living there suspected her ex-boyfriend of committing the offense, she asked police not to investigate the incident further. The woman told police that she had only dated 24-year-old Matthew Ruth for a short time. He had never been to her house, and she never invited him there. Now, after weeks of alleged stalking, officials say the woman's home would become the scene of a shootout between Ruth and local law enforcement attempting to serve an arrest warrant, a warrant for his arrest, culminated in the deaths of the shooter and the 3 detectives who were trying to keep the woman safe. This is also sad. She probably met this guy online or something, I'm thinking, because she never invited him to her house. They probably met online, perhaps. And y'all have to be careful. How many times have I warned you all about dating online with these dating apps? You never know. Listen, it's literally like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, people. There are some good people you could meet, and you could probably establish a union with them, maybe get married or whatever. But there's also some crazies out there, some psychos, some weirdos, some pervs. Some serial killers, even. Y'all know I've reported on these stories about these nefarious things happening from these dating apps. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all not to use them, but you should definitely be careful if you do. Okay, so let me continue. 2 other officers were injured in the shooting in North Cordova Township, an area about 115 miles west of Philadelphia, okay, where homes are separated by sprawling farmland, according to officials. So she was living out there in the boondocks, it seems. Just before midnight on September the 16th, the woman's mother called police after a man fitting Ruth's description was spotted on a trail camera set up outside the woman's home. Now, according to initial findings from an investigation by Pennsylvania State Police, the man was lurking outside with an AR-15 style rifle strapped around his chest. The man in the photo scanned the home through binoculars before disappearing into the night, according to York County District Attorney Tim Barker. This is all crazy and sounds real scary. Okay, this sounds real scary for somebody to have to go through this, especially after only dating somebody for a minute. Officials say the man's black Ford Ranger was also found about a half a mile up the road. Officers with the Northern York County Regional Police Department and deputies from the York County Sheriff's Department searched the area overnight, deploying a drone to aid in their search. Barker said this during a news conference on Thursday. So, despite searching over the next several hours, a warrant was sworn out for Ruth's arrest. And so, when officers approached the woman's farmhouse Wednesday afternoon, they took precautions, carefully scouring the scene with a drone, aware that Ruth could be somewhere nearby. As officials approached the front door, previously left locked by the woman who had fled for her safety, they discovered the door was now unlocked. And upon entering, were hit with a barrage of gunfire. So the officers have been identified as Detective Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Eimenhauser of the Northern York County Regional Police Department. Now, upon the officers immediately opening the door, Ruth repeatedly fired at the officers with multiple rounds from an AR-15 style rifle. All 3 of them were killed. Prayers and condolences to their families and prayers for a speedy recovery for the 2 officers who were wounded. Now, the shooter moved on to the farmhouse where 2 more officers were shot and wounded. Officials are still investigating the shooter's movements prior to the shooting, but note that he was very familiar with the home, which his ex-girlfriend said he had never visited. That's crazy. I wonder if he broke it in before when she wasn't there or something. Because how was he familiar with the home if she never invited him there? This is all scary to me, honey. He carefully surveilled the entire residence and the outbuilding areas, according to Barker. Okay, adding that officers are still investigating how the man entered the home in the first place. The man also fatally shot his ex-girlfriend's family dog. Besides discovering the initial casings from where Ruth began his barrage of murderous activity, they also discovered in the basement that he had killed the black Labrador that was owned by his ex-girlfriend's mother. Both officers, this is all crazy. Now, they say both officers remain hospitalized, according to Maggie Barton, a spokesperson for Wellspan Health Hospital, saying one of the patients of the two in our care has been upgraded to satisfactory condition. Well, that's good to hear. The other is still listed in critical but stable condition at this time. Okay, that's critical but stable is better than just critical. Okay, so hopefully they'll be well soon. Now, at least 30 shots rang out, according to a neighbor. It seemed like a war zone. Sounded like a war zone. This is what Dave Miller told CNN. Even so, one of the injured officers was able to return fire and kill the shooter. But Miller, hiding in his car, didn't know that yet. His heart was pounding. I just could not believe what I saw, Miller says. And then I looked at all the tall corn next to me and thought, well, if they didn't get him, he's on the run and he could come through the cornfield. Not the cornfield. Can you imagine? And I would have been so damn scared. I'm gonna tell you right now, honey. Even if I had Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson, I would have been fearful because you out there in the boondocks and somebody's out here in a cornfield, possibly. Yeah, no. Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. So anyway, goes on to say one of those still hospitalized Thursday was an officer with the Northern York County Regional Police Department. Okay, now and this is the statement they posted on Facebook. They say we ask our community to keep these officers, their families, and their colleagues in your thoughts and prayers during this time of unimaginable grief. That's what the department said on Facebook. Now, Wednesday was one of the deadliest days for Pennsylvania law enforcement in the past century. Okay, and this is according to the Associated Press. Nationwide, they say 37 law enforcement officers have been killed in the line of duty this year, according to the FBI. So Ruth was facing charges of stalking, loitering, and prowling at nighttime and criminal trespassing on the day of the shooting. Okay, this is all in court documents. Now they say Miller had been on his way home when he saw more than a dozen police officers searching for someone in a barn. An officer launching a drone near the road advised Miller to keep moving. Okay, and when he was just a few hundred feet from the scene, the gunfire started. He says, then I saw a body on the road. I pretty much saw it hit the ground. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said that he and other officials met Wednesday with the families of the slain officers, saying this is an absolute tragic and devastating day. So they say we need to do better as a society, and we need to help the people who think that picking up a gun, picking up a weapon is the answer to resolving disputes. That's what the governor said. Wednesday's shooting comes just months after an officer was killed during a shootout with a man who was holding staff members at a hospital hostage in York County. The attacker was also killed. The grief, they say, will be unbearable, but we will bear it. That's what the Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner, Colonel Christopher Paris, said in a news conference. The FBI, along with agents from the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, are supporting local officials. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a post on X, that violence against law enforcement is a scourge on our society and never acceptable. Pray for the officers involved. So learning that the 3 officers were killed in York County, where I worked for many years as a prosecutor and where I still call my home, is unfathomable. Okay, that's what Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday said on a post on X. The death of any public servant is an absolute tragedy. Okay, I absolutely agree. All right, so with that all been said, prayers and condolences to the families of the victims. This is absolutely egregious. And these are the 3 officers on the screen that lost their lives. So very sad. And, I'm sure they were very brave men because they were protecting that woman when they lost their lives. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on because Little Miss Crockett, y'all know that I happen to like Little Miss Crockett, even though y'all be going in on her. Now, mind you, I don't agree with everything that she does and says, but I like Little Miss Crockett. Okay, I know y'all don't. But anyway, I'll tell you this. She went in on Kash Patel yesterday. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I mean, she went in on him. So I'm going to share my screen.
Performance. Real nutrition for real strength. Man, oh man, there has been so much today, and I truly don't know where to start. So I'm just going to make sure that we start off with a few facts. So a couple of facts that we need to make clear for everyone is that, number one, Director Christopher Wray, when he was appointed to be the head of the FBI, was appointed by Donald Trump. Now, I will agree that I definitely take issue with a number of decisions that Donald Trump makes, especially when it comes to the people that he decides to appoint to very important positions, including this one, because I did have to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. But when I say that you are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI, that is real, because you are the only one that never even served with the FBI prior to joining, yet we are supposed to believe that
That's
you are
false.
the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't ask you a question.
Oops. Get him, Miss Crockett's beloved. And let me tell y'all something. I happen to love those glasses that she has on. Okay. Isn't she wearing those? DJ Big Six said quiet on the set. All right. Isn't she going in for the kill? Let's keep listening because I love it.
Now, what I want to
Still
go
false.
through is to talk about why you are a failure and why, honestly, we just need to tell you bye-bye. I know that you got a little upset and you put on your show for your boss because it seems like you're trying to save your job when it came to talking to Senator Booker yesterday. But let's go through some of your failures. So before you were even confirmed, and I think one of my colleague from Georgia, pointed out that you were already targeting career officials so that you could direct illegal firings. Mind you, these cases that you were so upset about, which are the ones tied to Trump, the cases came through his handpicked FBI director.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to something because remember how Charlie Kirk was going so hard in the paint for Kash Patel, talking about he's so qualified, and all that. The irony of it that this is the same man that would later go on to fumble the investigation into his murder. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Some stuff you just can't make it up. Kash Patel is absolutely not qualified for this damn job. Okay, people can miss me with it. At the end of the day, that man was never qualified for that job. That's why he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That's why he fumbled and bumbled that investigation. So sad and nefarious.
And frankly, when people sit around and say things like, oh, you know, we're happy because now we feel safe. I don't know who feels safe in this country except for the white supremacists, because I specifically as a Black woman definitely don't feel safe. And frankly, my colleagues have been real nice to you today, and I applaud them, but I don't have the same demeanor because I know that multiple colleagues on this side of the aisle have faced death threats. In fact, somebody tried to kill one of my colleagues. And frankly, I don't know if this FBI or under your leadership, if those people would have been caught. I don't have any confidence in you. And if we start talking about the reasons that I lack confidence, we could start with you not just wanting to acknowledge some simple facts. Simple facts like the vast majority of the threats are coming from right-wing extremism. And I know my colleagues have tried to stress this, but I decided that I would maybe do it in a different way. Number one, I have a couple of UCs. Kim Buck, one of multiple Republicans receiving death threats for voting against Jim Jordan as House Speaker.
Without objection.
Another one, Republican lawmaker says she received death threats after voting against Jim Jordan in Speaker's race.
Without objection.
In addition, there was another one from another colleague who now is leaving Congress because they said that they were calling his wife anonymously and threatening her life to the extent that she ended up sleeping with a firearm.
Without objection.
Okay, so here's the deal. How are we supposed to have confidence when you're sitting up here telling the Senate yesterday that it will take you 14 years before you can get the FBI fully staffed to do their jobs? You're also now redirecting resources so that they can go and play ICE agents on the streets. You're getting rid of your most qualified people. And even when it came down to somebody that you consider to be a friend, you were posted up having some fancy dinner to the extent that you posted not only once erroneously, you posted twice erroneously as it relates to catching somebody, and then you want to go and say, let me take a victory lap, because honestly, if it wasn't for parents deciding that they were going to turn in their child, it seems like y'all wouldn't have got there, even though he literally confessed online. So I'm confused about what it is that the FBI is doing, except for trying to put on a show for The Apprentice, or whatever you want to call him. The day
She did not call Trump The Apprentice. Did y'all hear that? She said trying to put on a show for The Apprentice. I am so done with Miss Crockett. Edward said there's a video going around about Ghetto Crockett not being ghetto before she became ghetto. Listen, Edward, what you're not going to do is slander little Miss Crockett. Let me tell you something about ghetto. First of all, that was started by one of the Caucasian females, and I can't remember which one that's in Congress, okay? They were, I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's who I think it was. Don't quote me. But here's the thing. They came out saying something about, oh, she's not black enough, basically saying she grew up in the suburbs, she went to law school, or they were just saying some crazy stuff about her, basically trying to say that she does too well to be trying to act like she's down with the hood or ghetto or whatever. Here's the thing. Bottom line is, she's not ghetto, not in my opinion, okay? But she might be a code switcher, okay? She might be a code switcher, because some of us do that. All right, y'all know y'all put on the professional voice when you're on the phone sometimes, or in different professional settings. And then sometimes you're more relaxed and you talk regular, okay, like the rest everybody else around you is talking. So I equate it to that. And when they're saying that she wasn't ghetto, well, I don't think she's ghetto now. I like little Miss Crockett. Y'all gonna leave little Miss Crockett alone and let her cook, because that's what she's doing, honey. Sit down, Edward. Stand down.
After all of this took place, there was domestic terrorism that was taking place at HBCUs. They were targeted. Yet I didn't hear anything from the FBI about what was going on. And again, Black people kept saying, how did we end up in this? Because the numbers are so very clear that white supremacy is a problem. And honestly, I've not heard anything out of you today that makes me believe that you're going to do anything about the white supremacy problem. The one that is leading to children being killed, children being shot, as well as members of their community as they're worshiping in their churches.
The time of the gentlelady's expired. If the gentleman would like to respond to any of that. Well, I mean, I'll respond. Kash Patel, as I said when I introduced him.
Y'all see how little Miss Crockett went on that whole rant? Y'all see how she went on that whole rant and she didn't be quiet? Now, Perplex, I'm going to delete your comment. You got to be careful what you put in the comments, beloved. Okay, that C word, we're not going to use that, okay? Now, with that all being said, listen, she just went on that whole rant, and now he's acting like she's talked so long, like, oh, can we get a word in edgewise? Okay, so with that all being said, last night after the debate, I saw a couple of comments. Now, you all tell me what you think. I saw a couple of comments saying that I wouldn't let Marlon get a word in edgewise. Do you all agree? That's what a couple of people left me in the comments. Do you all agree? Do you all think that I was not letting Marlon talk? I was being unfair? Be honest. Be honest. Because I'll admit, sometimes I do kind of talk over people. Hold on. Let me see what y'all saying. Okay, y'all are saying no. King Kai said he was arguing to argue. Okay. Reppin' Magazine said, what is a child? Michael says, I don't think so, Queen. He didn't have anything to say anyway. Okay. Trisha said, I don't agree. Okay. Randa said, I think Marlon was trying to gaslight you and you weren't allowing it. That's exactly what he was trying to do. And you're right, beloved. I wasn't allowing it. Okay, I was giving him chances to talk. As far as I'm concerned, he just wasn't saying anything. When he had a chance to talk, all he was doing was gaslighting and deflecting and trying to ask me questions to throw me off. That's what I felt like he was doing. I watched the video last night after I did the live. I went back and watched it. And as far as I'm concerned, there were some things that I didn't like about it. I noticed, I didn't catch this last night, but I watched it afterward. And I noticed that he basically called me a racist. Okay, he literally called me a racist, but doesn't think Charlie Kirk is. Make it all make sense. How the hell am I a racist because I'm calling out one? Okay? Y'all know who has that type of mindset, right? And it ain't people that look like me. So he basically said at the end, if y'all remember, and if you missed that video, go back and watch. He basically said, if you say that racism has changed over the years, I'd believe it because people don't even know what racism is anymore. That's why you got people combating racism with racism. I didn't really catch what he was meaning by that little shade that he threw until I got off the live and watched it, like I said. And I said, hold the hell up. Is he saying that I'm a racist? And that's why I'm going in on him? I'm using racism, but he didn't think that Charlie Kirk was? That's crazy as hell. Okay, as far as I was concerned. And then the way he was caping so hard. Now, let me tell y'all this. When I said something, y'all saw the video I showed it to the other day when Charlie Kirk lied and said that Trayvon Martin was hunting and stalking George Zimmerman. I played y'all the dispatcher call when he told him not, he asked him, was he following Trayvon? And he said, yes. And he said, with the man on the dispatch said, we don't need you doing that. So how the hell does Charlie Kirk come out and say that Trayvon was hunting and stalking him? And that's not a lie. That's a whole damn lie. It was also a lie when he said the officer used what he was trained to do on George Floyd. I showed you all the proof of receipts. I showed you how he lied about the stats at the end of the day. Okay? He was absolutely a racist, baby. But let me tell y'all something. When I play this video of the amazing Lucas, the one and only, y'all gonna see even more so that he was a whole racist. Please don't miss out. Okay, so now King Kai says, how smart can one be to debate with no material to present your point? Queen made a point on whites benefiting from Juneteenth. This fool separates himself from us by saying, why didn't y'all fight for that? He damn sure said it. He didn't say, why didn't we? He asked me, why did I fight for it? First of all, that was him gaslighting and deflecting and trying to get off topic and off course. Okay, that's what he was doing right there. You know why he was doing that? Because he didn't have a damn thing to say to explain how those white folks are the ones benefiting from Juneteenth. Because they said it was a race hustle. He agreed with Charlie Kirk when Charlie said it was a race hustle, right? So when Charlie Kirk said it was a race hustle, I'm sure his face was cracked when I said that white people are the ones benefiting from it. If it's a hustle, then they're the ones hustling it. And he's like, well, how's that? They're the ones getting all the money from the decorations and all that stuff. They're the ones selling all that stuff more so. Okay, and didn't they say that they damn trademarked the whole thing or whatever? Trademarked the name, like miss me with it. And then he's going to say, to counter that, after I asked him that, then he's going to say, well, how did he put it? He was like, did he say a black race hustle? He didn't have to say the race. He was definitely talking about black people. When he said black people use Juneteenth to slander white people online. And then he said it was a race hustle. So how the hell would it make sense if he'd have gone from saying that we're slandering white people online for Juneteenth to him saying that it was a race hustle for them or anybody else other than black people? Like, miss me with it, okay? There was nothing but a whole lot of gaslighting and deflecting. And I quite frankly was disappointed, but not too shocked. I kind of figured that might be how it went. I kind of figured. I was hoping not, but I kind of figured. Okay, I kind of figured. And I was trying to keep my composure because I was really getting a little ticked off because, like She Will said, he was very dismissive. Yes, he was, and being condescending. And yes, he was lying, Claudette. As far as I'm concerned, I believe he was absolutely lying. Okay, when he said that Barack Obama would have been the president if he had 34 felony convictions. Like, get the hell out of here. And he tried to explain it away by saying that he droned those citizens. Now, when he asked me about Barack droning citizens, let me say this. I was thinking that he's talking about in America, that Barack had people droned in America. That's why I'm like, no, I didn't know anything about that. Okay, but he was talking about that incident, and that was an accident. And Barack did come out. Barack did come out and apologize for that, as I recall. That was in May of 2013, no, 2015. Yeah, Obama did come out and apologize for killing two Western victims, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here thinking, because it kind of caught me off guard, because like, where did that question even come from? What the hell did it have to do with anything besides nothing? That was him gaslighting, okay? That was him gaslighting. So anyway, Chili Willie from Philly is in the chat. Hey, beloved, said I got to go back and watch. Please do. Okay, Claudia said he was trying to get you out there square. Yes, he was. And let me tell y'all something else too. What else happened was this. Pearl said Queen Marlon is not on your level. Let me say this. It was just really nonsensical for me because he kept trying to ask me questions. And then I felt like he was purposely trying to say little stuff to get the channel in trouble. That's what I feel like, because he said the word raccoon twice, and the second time he said it, I asked him not to say it, and then he acted like he had an attitude, like, oh, well, you don't want people saying certain words and this and that. He knows darn well there's certain words we can't say on ScrewTube. So that's why it's no chat. If you go back and look at the video, if you miss it, there's no chat on the video, because unfortunately, I had to edit the video to remove the 2 times that he said the word raccoon without the rack in front of it, okay? So I had to go and edit it. So, when you edit a video on YouTube, it takes away the chats, unfortunately, which I hated. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. And then he said, oh, so it's not just white people we talking about. So you hate black people if they say something you don't like. I'm like, when did I say I hated anybody? I never said that. Clearly putting words in my mouth. I don't hate any damn body. Okay? What is he talking about? All right, I know, and the conversation wasn't even about white people. The conversation was supposed to be about Charlie Kirk. So y'all see how anytime I made a good point or said something that he didn't want to answer, he would flip it and try to ask me a question to try to throw me off. I knew what he was up to, honey. Okay, I knew what he was up to. He could miss me with it, like I said. He could miss me with it. I don't have any love for Marlon after that. Because when I went back and looked at it and realized that he called me a damn racist, but you don't think Charlie Kirk is fun? Get the fuck out of here. They let me know exactly who he is. They let me know exactly who he is, period.
Public defender, former prosecutor, top staffer on the House Intelligence Committee, Deputy Director of National Intelligence with the National Security Council, Chief of Staff of the Department of Defense, and FBI Director. I think that's pretty good resume for the guy who's now running the top law enforcement agency in our country. And we've seen all the stats that he's given to the committee on how much better they're doing to get the bad guys than the previous guy was doing. With that, I recognize the gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, I think you're witnessing some auditions, clickbait auditions for the Academy Award for my Democratic colleagues. We'll see how they fare as they're on MSNBC later on today. But do you care, before I launch into my line of questioning, to respond to Ms. Crockett from Texas on that very elaborate and theatric display?
Here's what I've learned in my government service. I don't give a damn what they say about me as long as I'm succeeding in the mission. We're succeeding in the mission because the men and women of the FBI have never been empowered to do more work and to hit the streets harder than by President Trump's authorities and resources he's given us. And so all I care about is that we are capturing more child predators than ever before, taking more drugs off the streets than ever before, that we are capturing murderers at a significantly historic rate, and we're delivering this country the lowest murder rate in recorded history. That are facts that you cannot dispute, but you can come at me all you want. I don't care.
Thank you, Director, for that. And we appreciate your service. We appreciate the results speak for themselves, I think, pretty plainly, and your commitment not only to results, but to transparency. So we do appreciate that.
Sin ofender.
Let me tell y'all something. Kash Patel was not here for it, okay? He said, y'all can come at me all you want, honey. Ooh, honey. This is all crazy. That crazy bitch Eric said, hold on. That crazy bitch Eric said that he's absolutely horrible and incompetent. Okay, I have to agree. I absolutely have to agree. D Major says, Queen, I do think that it would be good to have a moderator for any future debates. Just an idea. You know, I actually was thinking about that too. I did want to have one, but it was kind of last minute when I thought about it. I was like, dang, I should have got a moderator. So the next time I likely will do that. I'll probably get one of my moderators to be the moderator. So they basically can ask the questions of each party or whomever's involved, and then the people can answer. I think that would be better. Okay, I think that would be better. Mo B said it was a showdown at the OK Corral, and Queen came locked and loaded, and he came with a water pew pew. Y'all are something else. Y'all are something else, and I can't fool with y'all. Perplex said that is an excellent idea, Queen. I agree, beloved. I think so. Okay. That crazy speech era said Marlon said that Patel was fit for the job. Remember? Hey, he said a bunch of crazy ass stuff. Said Patel was fit for the job. Obama could be the president even if he had 34 damn felonies. We all know that's a bunch of BS. Said that Charlie Kirk wasn't racist. Said that he believed what he said about George Floyd. He believed that crap about Trayvon Martin. How the hell was Trayvon stalking and hunting George Floyd? And then he turns up dead. And then, like, for real, when somebody goes hunting, they have a gun or a weapon, right? Trayvon had Skittles and a damn Arizona tea. How the hell was he stalking and hunting? It all makes sense. Sure you can't. Okay? I'm sure you can't. Trisha said Queen had a super soaker double barrel. Okay? Here's the thing. When he was saying that I wasn't letting him get a word in edgewise, it wasn't that I wasn't letting him get a word in. It was that I wasn't letting him control the conversation. Okay, like he does on his channel. I wasn't going to let him control the conversation. Okay, that's what I'm not going to do. You're not going to control an interview with me, and you're not going to control the conversation if it's a debate. That's what you're not going to do. Not on my channel. Not on my channel, especially when I know that's what you like to do. Especially when I know you like to be dismissive and condescending, and I think that you're a whole misogynist and you really don't care for women, specifically FBA women. Yeah, because called that woman a monkey and had the nerve to try to go in on me for calling, what's his name, Ben Carson, a raccoon. Tried to go in on me for calling Ben Carson a raccoon, but you called a black woman a monkey, honey. So miss me with it. All right? You called that woman that. That's what you said. So anyway, honey, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, okay, let's just y'all were talking about the Obama thing. So let me just tell you all about the Obama thing, right? That he brought up. Because like I said, when he brought that up, it threw me off for a minute. He got me that time. He threw me off a little bit. So let's go to it. Because I was thinking Obama didn't kill no citizens in the United States, but no, he's talking about this apparently. Okay, so Obama apologized for the drone killings of 2 Western victims. What about everyone else, they say? This was May 13th of 2015, just like I thought. President Obama's recent response to the tragic deaths of 2 civilians, U.S. Warren Weinstein and Italian citizen Giovanni Loporto in a January 2015 targeted killing strike in Pakistan was remarkable and unprecedented, yet it should not have been. The president publicly announced the men had mistakenly been killed as a result of a U.S. strike, and he apologized for their deaths. He promised a thorough independent review of their killings, and he said their families would be compensated. All of this was exactly the right thing to do. But the contrast between the administration's response to the deaths of those Western and white civilians, white and civilians, and those of the many hundreds of non-Western civilians who have died in the administration's lethal force program is stark and glaring. No other victims' families has received official acknowledgement and apology, let alone been promised an investigation or compensation. That's fundamentally unfair, and it increases the hostility against the United States in countries where the CIA and the Pentagon carry out their lethal strikes. Okay, I think we've heard enough. I think that we've heard enough. So, like I said, Obama apologized for it. And the other people, I would imagine that he didn't apologize to them because he probably meant to have them hit. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Okay, so now with that all being said, without further ado, let's go to Piers Morgan, where the amazing Lucas was on there. Okay. That's who should debate Marlon. That's who should have debated Marlon. Okay, at the end of the day. With that being said, let me get my overlay on here. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of music just to be on the safe side. Okay, here we go. Let's get into it.
It's the host of Games for Girls on Outkick.com. Gillian Michaels, host of Keeping It Real. Brian Shapiro, host of Pushing the Limits. And Lucas Bain, better known as the amazing Lucas. Okay, well, welcome to all of you. Brian Shapiro. I was sickened by what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think we can probably all agree. I hope we can all agree. It was sickening, although I had Destiny on the other night. He couldn't bring himself to condemn it because Donald Trump hadn't said the right thing for him, which I think is a lamentable piece of moral cowardice. So let me just start by asking you, I presume you condemn and were horrified by what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Absolutely. I was on the air, Piers, when it all happened. I got emotional. The first thing I thought about were his kids and his family. This is not only bad for Charlie Kirk, obviously, and bad for his family. It's bad for America. And I also feel for everybody that was traumatized, that was there that day, that had to see that. Now, with that being said, of course, I didn't agree with basically anything that Charlie Kirk stands for. But with that being said, anybody that's celebrating his death, I think that's despicable and it's disgusting. And I've called that out, and I've been very consistent on my opinions since day one. If there's one thing that me and Charlie Kirk certainly agreed on, it's civil discourse and having political debate. I enjoy doing this show, Piers, and I enjoy having respectful discussions with people that I disagree with. So this is a horrible, horrible situation. We could never condone political violence, no matter what side of the aisle it comes from.
Why have so many people on the far left, the woke left, been so brazen in their gleeful celebration of what happened to Charlie Kirk?
I think if you're not using the van to do business travel, then you're missing out. My name's Clay, and...
Well, my response to that, number one, is I'm not on the far left, so I certainly don't speak for them, but there's people on both sides of the aisle. I know Republicans don't want to hear that, but there are crazy lunatics on both sides of the aisle that celebrate really horrible things that happen to people in America. I don't agree with them. And if you're on the far left or the far right and you celebrate anybody getting murdered, then there's something wrong with you. And I don't feel bad for any of those people that were fired for celebrating his death. I think it's disgusting. Now, if you're just talking about him and saying, well, he wasn't a good guy, here's why I didn't like him, here are some of his quotes that he said in the past, I don't think you should be fired for that. I think there's a way to call out political violence and say Charlie Kirk didn't deserve this. I feel for his family, but I didn't like Charlie Kirk and I didn't like what he stood for. I think you could make both points respectfully.
Okay, Lucas Bean, I've been pointed out to me that you've posted some messages about Charlie Kirk on your Instagram, which we're going to show here. One is a post that's a parody of a Jubilee debate. I'm doing one of these myself soon, titled Charlie Kirk versus Bullet. Can one bullet to the neck outsmart one conservative? Well, that was a short watch. Number two is a mocked up promotion poster called Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods and hashtagged both Charlie Kirk and his widow. And the third was an image of a sunrise titled God Works in Mysterious Ways with the hashtag Charlie Kirk killing and praying hands as an emoji. And you're laughing as I show these. Why do you find this funny?
Well, let me just say that I actually am a big advocate for dark humor. And I happen to have gotten a bit of a taste of that over the last, I don't know, maybe decade or so when it came to the right and their memes of George Floyd, happy birthday being sober for 5 years. When it came to their memes of Breonna Taylor, when it came to their memes of Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon challenge, right? When it came to their memes of Tamir Rice. So I don't know what the issue is. I think I'm engaging in the freedom of speech that the right has been advocating for these last 10 years and mocking and making light of Black death, something that Charlie Kirk himself did time and time again. As a matter of fact, I would argue that if Charlie Kirk, instead of focusing his time on Black culture and black crime, if he had spent a modicum of his time focusing on the white youth, that perhaps he would still be with us today.
Now, you know they didn't like that. Now, you know they didn't like that. Let's wait and see what they say about it. Special K says, next debate with anyone who's opposed to the truth about old Charlie, we need a fact checker, excuse me, as well. Because you were doing it and checking him all at the same time. That's right. I had my hands full, beloved. That's why I couldn't keep an eye on the chat. Okay, that's exactly what I was doing. You know, that's a good idea. We'll get whoever's the moderator for the next debate to have them have the facts, you know, the receipts. And let's hear their response. And I want you all to pay attention, though, because he said all of that. Now, you all heard Lucas, because Lucas really just called them out on their BS. They're talking about his memes that he put up about Charlie, but Lucas is bringing up Breonna Taylor, you know, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, all the times those people were mocked. And see, here's the thing. Didn't I show you all the same thing? I showed you all the picture of George Floyd when they were mocking him. Okay, Trayvon Martin. I talked to you all about that. So at the end of the day, that's why I love this young man. He is very good at what he does, and me and him he feels the same way about this stuff that I do. Okay, that's why I'm here for it. Let's keep listening.
Are you pleased he's dead?
No, absolutely not.
So how did you feel about his murder?
I don't think.
How did you feel about his murder?
How do I feel about his murder?
Yeah.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to what Piers does right here. Piers does not want to address what he said. He doesn't want to address what Lucas said about Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Trayvon all being mocked with memes. Okay? Didn't want to bring that up. And even 5 years after George Floyd died, they're still mocking him. There was like a meme with a cake, a birthday cake, and a picture of George Floyd, and it had the number 5 on the cake, and it said, "Congratulations, George Floyd is 5 years of sobriety." Okay, like, because he's been dead 5 years. You know what I'm saying? This is the stuff they do. Nobody's supposed to have a problem with it. Nobody's supposed to get upset or mad. Just want y'all to pay attention. Okay, Pensacola said, I love Lucas too. Okay, he's the bomb. So at the end of the day, Angie said black people should not go on his show. Let me tell you something. If I went on his show, I would say a whole lot worse than Lucas did and then bounce. That's what I do. I go in there and say a whole lot even worse than what Lucas did, because Lucas was really being nice to him, because he could have gone in a whole lot more, because we know how he can get. But yeah, I really don't like Piers Morgan. At the end of the day, he's just a whole hot mess. And now pay attention to how he's deflecting. He's not acknowledging the stuff that Lucas just said. He's not acknowledging any of that. Let's go right past that and ask him, you know, were you pleased about his death? How did you feel about it? What does that have to do with anything besides nothing? That's the same kind of stuff Marlon was doing to me last night. That's the same kind of thing Marlon was doing to me last night. Okay, I make a point, and then he wants to ask me a question that don't have anything to do with it. That crazy bitch Eric said they would mute you, Queen. They probably would, and as soon as they did, I would bounce, beloved. I would bounce. Okay?
Well, I think a quote by a great author sums up the sentiment of millions of Americans around the world. And that is, some cause happiness wherever they go. Others when they go. And I think that's a sentiment that is palatable amongst many Americans around the world due to the hate and vitriol and bile that Charlie Kirk sowed. So I think there was a
so just to be clear, just I misheard.
Now, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Okay, Nina said anything to deflect from wrongdoing. Exactly. Did y'all hear what Lucas just told them? He said there's a quote that said, and I believe the quote's by Oscar Wilde, but he said there's a quote that says, some people bring happiness by coming and then some by going. Isn't that what he said? I am so done. Okay. Now, how do you think they're feeling about that right about now? But let's continue.
Then you are happy he died.
No, I don't think as far as happiness is an emotion that
This is Sundays for Dogs. Sundays is human-grade, air-dried dog food. 90%.
You literally just read me a quote which implies you're happy. You talked about some people's death bring happiness.
He did not say that, Piers. Okay, here he is trying to put words in Lucas's mouth. Okay, this is what people will do. He didn't say that he was happy. He said there's a famous quote about happiness, and it says some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Okay? And that's by Oscar Wilde. But let's continue.
The purpose of the quote was to say that there are some people who have caused harm and death and turmoil to other groups of people, such as Charlie Kirk, whether it's black people, whether it's, trans people.
No, I heard the quote.
The list
just to
goes
be
on.
clear, you said that the quote ends in that their death brings happiness, but you've denied that you were happy. But when you tell me a quote
I don't disagree that
when you
there
tell
are
me a quote
people
like
who
that,
are-
I presume from that quote you're implying that actually you are happy he died because he deserved it. He had it coming.
No, not at all. I don't think those are ever.
Now, see how quickly he put words in his mouth? This is exactly what Martin was doing to me all last night. Are y'all paying attention? It's exactly what he was doing. Piers Morgan is sitting up there asking him asinine questions that haven't a thing to do with Lucas's point. He's putting words in his mouth for the second time already in this conversation. And the man hasn't even been talking, Lucas that is, hasn't been even talking 5 minutes. And here Piers is going in, trying to put words in his mouth. Somebody, he deserved it, he had it coming. He didn't say anything remotely close to that. And see, that's what gets on my nerves about people like that. If they can't debunk you, if they don't want to answer the question you ask, or they don't want to acknowledge the position you made or the argument that you stated, then now let's just gaslight and deflect. Let's just ask them an asinine question. It's nothing to do with the topic. Let's just put words in their mouth real quick to make everybody else think they're even more nefarious than we know they are. Is that what you're trying to do? Sit down somewhere. Okay? Goodness Ray DeBow said your debate partner is a Trump supporter. No reason with them. Yeah, I agree. Not no Trump supporter. Okay, Queen, you brought the facts and he couldn't. Thank you. I did come prepared. I had my receipts because I knew I was going to need them. Okay? Mel said Piers Morgan can't be trusted. All right. So anyway, let's get back to it. Pio Bunyan said Lucas was bashing Kamala. Well, I was too. That further goes to prove that me and him think alike. I was too. Kind of wish I hadn't done it now. In hindsight, too late for goodbyes, unfortunately.
For words that I've ever mentioned verbatim ever. I think there is a sentiment that when someone who lives their life in evil and wickedness, according to the scripture, the power of life and death is in your tongue. And the hate and the vile and the venom that he spewed, I don't know what to tell you. As the scripture says, as he professed, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I think his focus should have been on a community that, clearly is in problem. That I find it interesting that there's more scrutiny on people who may make memes that they've done of George Floyd and other black victims than on the white male youth that did this tragedy, as some would call it. I think.
Y'all heard it. Y'all see that? Ooh, baby, they are getting mad, honey. They are furious. Okay? They are absolutely bent out of shape at this point. Ooh, let's keep listening. Let them have it, Lucas.
Why would you be offended about the memes to people like George Floyd, which I found contemptible at the time, if they're the same ones that you're talking about? Why would you profess to be offended by those if you're...
I'm going to stop interrupting you guys. I just want to read this comment. Riri said, thank you, Queen, so much for admitting to what you said in regards to Kamala Harris. Yes, honey, clearly, I should have spent all of my time going in hard in the paint on Trump. Okay, now I see why Kamala kept bringing up how dangerous he was. She clearly knew. She clearly knew exactly what this devil was capable of. Okay? Honey, I'm big enough to admit when I made a mistake. Some people will never do it because they're narcissists. Honey, but if I'm wrong, I can absolutely tell you I'm wrong. I have no problem with it. And I can also be corrected. Because I'm not a narcissist like some of these people. Okay, we don't even have to call names, but let's continue.
Quite happy to do the same kind of thing yourself.
I think the point that I'm making by the means that I'm putting out, which clearly has caused outrage and triggering, I find it a bit hypocritical that the people for years who said fuck your feelings are now overwhelmed with feelings at the moment. But the point that I was making was to point out the hypocrisy that the right has on a variety and myriad of issues, as we just saw with Pam Bondi on the freedom of speech. I think the issue is that they have scapegoated people like Pam Bondi for...
Okay, look at the guy in the hat that's next to Lucas. Look how he's nodding in agreement with him for a lot of what he's saying. Okay, and also just to let you guys know, the people in the comments or in the chat when this was live, that when this was posted, they were upset. They were going in like, "Oh, get him out of here! Don't have him back on the show," and all that stuff. But it was all hilarious. Let's keep listening.
What is the crime of Donald Trump? The same thing they did with Anthony Fauci. We saw this when it came to the Second Amendment. They banned bump stock ban. They had a bump stock ban under Donald Trump while they were fear-mongering about Biden take away your guns. But as we saw, there was no outrage, there was no protest, and we come to find out that it was unconstitutional. So I think this hypocrisy is ubiquitous within the right, and I think my memes expose that hypocrisy.
And what about your own personal humanity? I mean, hashtagging his widow in a mocked-up promotion poster of Kirk and Twerk at Neck of the Woods. How do you justify targeting? Oh, well, hang on. How do you justify targeting his widow?
Before Lucas answers that, have you all heard what they're saying about his widow right now? Once in the chat, have you all heard what they're saying about Erica Kirk at this point? Once in the chat. Benita Pollard said, "Is Amazing Lucas related to the Hodge twins?" I hope not. I hope not, beloved. I hope not. Okay. That's right. Measure Man said, "Didn't they target Floyd's daughter?" Yes, they sure did. Now that you mentioned it, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so some of you all are saying once about what they said about her. Okay. That she's now the CEO. No, I'm not even talking about that. This is nefarious. This is nefarious. Okay. And I can't really get into it until I do my research and make sure that this is thorough. But honey, when I tell you, somebody sent me some information last night, and shout out to you, beloved. Okay. But somebody sent me some information last night that was, honey, when I tell you, and let me ask y'all something. Did you all know that Erica Kirk was supposedly introduced to Charlie Kirk by Donald Trump? How many of you knew that? How many of you knew that? Look at D Major Skeleton talking about, "Give us a clue, Queen." I'm going to give you a blow upside the head talking about a clue. But that's what I'm going to give you, D Major. Look at Nene saying the same thing. "Give us a hint." Y'all are so nefarious. Look at Pretty Wings. "Tell us, Queen." That crazy bitch ass, "We need the tea." Y'all not getting anything until I find out all these receipts. Y'all know I can't come on here half-stepping. I got to have receipts. That's how you get sued. Okay? So, but what I will say, no, what I will, the D Major said, "Now, Queen, be nice." Bryce said, "Okay, I'm connecting the dots." Right, and that's what I'm trying to do, beloved. Leon told me I'm all ears. Daddy Joe said, "Queen, I must apologize because I may have insulted that blank on your live yesterday. My fist kept wanting to clench so hard. I was upset." I was upset. Not upset, beloved. Okay? That's okay. But now listen. Here's the thing. I'm going to see how, can I give y'all a hint? I don't know. At the end of the day, this is some serious allegations that have been waged against her. So I'm not going to say anything until I find out further confirmation. But I will say this. G from the land said, "Queen, you can tell us, just put allegedly in front." Yeah, I know. I don't want to say anything though until I further investigate. Okay? I don't want to say anything. But what I will say is this. So y'all knew that Trump introduced her to Charlie Kirk, right? I just want y'all to keep that in mind. How do y'all think Trump knew her? How do y'all think Trump knew her? Want y'all to think about that. And I'll tell you later. All right? Tune in for the receipts. That's all I'm saying. But I'm telling you, these allegations against her are nothing nice. We'll talk about it later on the next broadcast.
I think that's a bit disingenuous to use such hyperbolic language as targeting. I think it's more of a strategic plan of attack to get the message out to more people. When we saw Erica Kirk, she had a moment to speak for unity within the country, left and right, and she chose to fundraise. She then chose to use the scripture and talk, very nicely of her, past husband. And I understand that. But by that same token, there are people who were absolutely harmed by the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk put out. And that rhetoric actually codified in many cases in many states. So I think it's abhorrent and actually perverse to expect people who are harmed by his rhetoric, harmed by someone who had anti-black, anyone who wasn't white and Christian in his perspective. I think it's perverse to try and criticize those people or try and make them seem as if they're the bad guys when that's
yeah. But you see,
not
funny
the
enough,
case.
I can look at what you've done, and I can see somebody who is abhorrent and despicable and actually evil. Actually, the stuff when you target someone's widow as she grieves.
Once
and tries
again,
to
I
protect
disagree
her
with the
two
word
children.
targeting.
No,
I think
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me personally. My view of what you've done. I don't care about your.
Now, I have to say this. Now, I didn't know Lucas is so nefarious for this. Lucas, I didn't know that Lucas tagged the woman. I didn't know that Lucas had tagged the woman. Lucas, are you serious right now? Now, he knew that was going to be frowned upon. King Lejeune said, not they picking and choosing. Of course, that's what they're doing. Of course, that's what they're doing, beloved. They're going to always do their dirt, and then when you do dirt back, they're going to say, oh, well, you didn't have to do that, and then play the victim. That's how that goes.
Motivation in terms of other people's inappropriate memes, many of which I may well agree with you about. But that doesn't mean that I then go and do it myself or worse, because that makes me even more inhuman and abhorrent. And by your definition,
I disagree. I
know you disagree. I'm just telling you.
Here's my thing. Now, Piers is about to tick me off because here's the thing. You're right. You're absolutely right. She will. That lady is calling for violence. She is. You have no idea what you have unleashed. I told you all when she said it, that sounded like a thinly veiled threat to me. Okay, so with that all being said, Piers Morgan needs to shut the hell up because first of all, he really don't give a darn. Okay, he's trying to get ratings. But here's my thing: if he has such a problem, Piers Morgan. Let me just backtrack. Piers Morgan is the same person. If you all remember. Because I think I reported on this. He's the same person who said that Meghan Markle was lying when she talked about her mental health struggles and wanting to delete herself. He's the same low down, dirty, despicable degenerate while he's sitting here trying to go in on Lucas. Okay? He's the same low down, despicable degenerate who said that. You don't play about somebody's mental health, especially when they're to the point that they thought about taking themselves up out of here. But Piers Morgan, because he was mad, butthurt, and bent out of shape because Meghan didn't want to go out with him, allegedly. Okay? That he tried to discredit her about her mental health issues. He don't know what she was going through. He isn't a psychologist. He wasn't her doctor or counselor. Okay, but he want to sit here and call Lucas despicable and abhorrent. That's what he is too. If we want to go that route.
I know. I'm just telling you. I know. Hang on. I've let you have your say.
I'm a mirror.
I've let you have your
what
say.
They have shown.
I'll let you have your say.
They don't like
I'm telling you.
They should actually detour.
Fine. I'm using your own justification to tell you what I think of you and what you've done. Right? That's my free speech at work. Let me bring in Gillian Michaels.
Agree.
I mean, Gillian, look. You know, I saw Brian there nodding to some of what he was hearing there, not all, to be clear, but nodding to some of it about the hypocrisy which Lucas claims he is exposing with this stuff. What is your view of what he's said?
I don't know what the view is, but we're going to get to that in a minute. But I'm going to tell you what my view is of Piers Morgan. Okay, let's get into it. Piers Morgan expressed disbelief. Now, I just Googled this. Okay, let's get into it. Piers Morgan expressed disbelief and doubted the truthfulness of Meghan Markle's claims about her mental health during her interview with Oprah Winfrey, stating he didn't believe a word she said and called her the Pinocchio princess, while he later conceded it wasn't his place to question her suicidal feelings. He maintained serious concerns about the veracity of her statements and the claim that the royal family denied her help. Okay, so anyway, that wasn't any of his business. That wasn't any of his business at the end of the day. So anyway, and then he came out and said that it wasn't his place after people criticized him for it. See, so he can't sit here and talk about Lucas because he's low down and dirty too. If he want to think Lucas is low down and dirty, what does he think of himself?
It's not just how the news
I think Lucas is amazing.
Is told, but what's left out, which concerns me. And when a friend in the business recommended I try Ground News, I gave it a go. Quite honestly, I was impressed. It does something brilliant, which most news platforms are afraid to do. It's an app and a website that lines up coverage of the same story from across the spectrum.
More than happy to litigate.
Hi, it's Mark Barden from Sandy Hook Promise. Can I please count on your help to ramp up pressure on Congress?
Some of Charlie's positions for you. I abjectly.
I don't think I need any litigation
face,
from a woman who tried to downplay slavery, who tried to all lives matter slavery after she purchased a black child. That's what I would argue. I don't think you need to as far as litigate anything.
Would you like to discuss it?
Okay.
Because the reality of the situation is that what I gave you, whether you like it or not, is a fact from the 1860 census.
Julia Michaels, shut your bitch ass up. That's what you can do. I do not like her. She made that little offhand remark about slavery. Yeah, I don't like her. If I ever see her in public, I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, honey. Okay, wherever she is. I don't give a damn if she's on a stage winning an award. I'm going to go right up to her and tell her what a low-down, lying, filthy piece of ish that I think she is. And I dare to say.
And the point is not to downplay slavery.
It is actually a bastardization of actual history. What you cited was inaccurate. You can actually look it up. I don't know if you did. I doubt you do your due diligence. You clearly did not, because in that study that you're citing, in the study that I'm discussing it right now.
She didn't look up a darn thing, okay? Because what she said wasn't factual. Lucas got the receipts and he's about to air it, okay? This is all so crazy. See, some people will sit up there when they can't debate you or they can't have a conversation and debunk what you're saying, or you call them out on their lies or misinformation or whatever. They'll still sit there and stand 10 toes down, acting like they know what the hell they're talking about. Just admit that you effed up, lady, that you didn't do your research and you didn't know what the hell you were talking about when you said what you said. Because Lucas, the amazing Lucas that is about to drop the facts on you. Period.
In the study that you're citing, it takes into account not only the slaves, it takes into account the northern states and the southern states. So to try and implement or to say this all lives matter when it comes to slavery, which is abhorrent and in extreme contradiction to American history, especially in this country as chattel slavery as Black Americans, is abhorrent and perverse, especially you, who is the mother of a Black child, who she purchased.
Right.
Other people
is my
adopt.
turn to talk?
You purchased. Is it by all means.
How did I? Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by purchase. She's adopted, and it is illegal to purchase a child.
Did you pay to get that child?
Yeah,
no, I paid the adoption agency.
It was absolutely free.
Study.
It was absolutely. Okay,
I paid the adoption agency like you.
So then there was a process
of child.
Oh, you paid.
I believe that other people adopt.
Adoption agency. Okay, you're.
Whether or not you paid money to the adoption agency or whomever, you purchased that child is what he's saying. He's saying that you purchased the child because you had to pay money for the adoption agency. That's what he's saying, lady. Okay, he's not saying you trafficked her, but he's saying that clearly you had to spend some money to get that child. That's what he's saying. So stop trying to play dumb.
You're wrong, and that's defamation.
I'm literally right as you're saying that you paid to an adoption agency.
You're literally, shut your ass up. She's sitting up here acting stupid and playing dumb. First of all, you do have to pay. Okay, when people go and adopt children, they usually pay the adoption costs, all right? And that depends on what type of adoption it is, ranging from free or very low cost for adoptions. It can be from foster care to thousands of, or tens of thousands of dollars for private and inter-country adoptions is what they call it. Okay, did y'all know that? Yeah, they have these fees. Now I want y'all to think about that. Because isn't that all kind of sketchy to you? Like, why are people paying fees? Thousands of dollars, and in some cases tens of thousands of dollars. Let me tell y'all something. That's some bullshit right there. Let me watch my language. That's some BS right there, because they're sitting there talking about paying all this money, like tens of thousands for adoptions. Here's the thing why that's a problem, because if they're having CPS come and take people's children, and it's already been alleged that CPS is nefarious and how these things go down with foster care and adoptions and all of that, this is why it's problematic about the trafficking, because people can come and basically take your kids through CPS, an accusation somebody made that may not even been valid, and they can take your kids, put them in a foster parent's home, and then that foster parent decide they want to adopt your kids, because they're going to get money for adopting them. Y'all know that, right? They get money for keeping foster kids, taking them in, and get a check every month, and they also get money for adoptions, I do believe. Now, with that all being said, and then paying these fees, I'm sorry, that sounds like a whole con game. Why are people being charged to adopt children that would otherwise not have a home to go to? That should be absolutely free. If you ask me, I don't understand why there's a need to pay all these transaction fees, is what they call it. Okay, make it all make sense. But let's continue, because Jillian's upset.
Wrong, and it's this.
I'm literally correct.
You know what you are. You know what you are,
I
Lucas.
think what's
Let me just.
is you downplaying
Hang on. Let me jump in
That's
here.
what I think is
Let me
hateful.
jump in
I
here,
didn't actually
Lucas.
downplay
Let me jump in
slavery.
here, Lucas.
That's
it seems to
literally
me
what you did.
Seems to me, Lucas, you've decided to be just as offensive as you want to be. You're now attacking people who adopt children, which is one of the most selfless things that any human being could do, actually.
This is literally what
But
the
you-
right did to Dave Rubin, is
Fine,
it not?
Fine. But what you're doing is just trying to be as offensive as possible whilst masquerading under this umbrella of, well, everybody else is offensive, so that's why I'm doing it, to expose
Not
all
at
the
all, and I
hypocrisy.
think if that's
But
what I'm
Gillian
giving
is
off, I
right.
apologize
Gillian is
sincerely.
right.
What
But
I'm merely
actually,
trying to
you
do
have descended.
is create
you
a
have,
better
the
world.
way you've
What
just
I'm
gone
trying to
after
do is to
Gillian.
unify
You know what,
people.
Lucas?
The
Stop
only way we
talking.
can unify people
Stop
is for
talking.
people to understand the
Stop
harms that they've
talking.
done.
You have targeted Gillian for adopting a child. That is despicable. Let me bring in Riley
I
Gaines.
targeted Jillian for adopting a black child after she downplayed slavery, which
Right.
I think is contradictory.
Fine. You attacked her for adopting a child.
I mean, let's not misconstrue my words that I'm saying.
Oh, I heard your words. Let me bring in. Let me bring in Riley.
You're
Riley.
misinterpreting.
Let me bring in Riley Gaines here.
Sure, buddy.
Riley, you've been waiting patiently.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact.
Great rebuttal, Jillian.
Okay, can you please let the others speak, please? Okay.
I wasn't actually allowed to talk, Lucas, but I'm more than happy actually to have you on my podcast.
That's because anything
and
comes
we
out of your
can
mouth
we
is
can
back.
we can discuss.
I just wish Jillian would shut the hell up. Here's the thing. Somebody said Jillian is biracial. Yes, she is biracial, but she's not black and white. She's not that type of biracial. She's Jewish and Syrian, which has nothing at all to do with black. I'm just wondering why she didn't want a child that looked like her. If she feels that way about slavery, I just have questions, honey.
All of it.
All right, let me bring in.
Well, if you'd like to come on my podcast, I would be more than happy to.
Okay,
give you a
that's a
platform.
different podcast for a different
More
time.
than willing to have discourse.
Okay,
just
you know
to
what?
honor Charlie Kirk,
If you're
to be
willing for
honest.
discourse, let Riley Gaines speak. Riley, what
Absolutely.
is your view of what you've been hearing?
I mean, honestly, like it makes me feel tearful. Like I have experienced all of the emotions over the past week. It has been to the day 7 days. I think initially starting with total shock and disbelief and honestly confusion.
Now, just for those of you who don't know, this young lady speaking now, Riley, she is somebody who worked for Charlie and was also his friend.
I've been so blessed in my life to not have been surrounded by death much in my family. I haven't lost really anyone close to me. Charlie was a friend, a mentor of mine. He's who ultimately I attribute to giving me my voice, the platform that I have. I attribute that to Turning Point USA, to Charlie Kirk. So to lose a friend like that, like I have gone through all the emotions, but to sit here today and listen to the discussions that we have seen, I think particularly from Lucas, whether it was about the memes that were posted, whether it was about Jillian adopting a black child. I mean, I am just like in total disbelief, disarray. How have we reached a point where these are the discussions that we're having?
Okay, let me just say this. I'm sorry to keep stopping, beloveds. Family, I just cannot. This is so draining for me. Listen, she's sitting there saying, how have we reached this point we're having this discussion? Girl, shut the F up. Okay, what the hell are you talking about? How are we having this discussion? First of all, we've had the discussion that Lucas is having with them. We've been having that for decades in this country. About people trying to act like our struggle doesn't exist. See, that's my problem. That was one of my problems with Charlie Kirk too, because Charlie Kirk used to act like black people weren't going through struggles. Like when Black people talked about hate crimes and all that stuff, like we were lying and making it up. He even said, didn't he even say something about women lying about SA? Didn't he even say that? Talking about he don't believe it or something? Like it's all crazy. But anyway, let's let her keep talking. I'm gonna try not to interrupt.
And on a national stage here, like we have Democratic elected officials who are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, the best and most effective,
not true,
debater of our time.
All they do is lie.
Activist, really. I think debater is really downplaying.
That's not true.
Ultimately.
Here, she's lying.
Yes.
In what way?
What is the lie?
Name me one prominent.
there?
Name me what? Hey, Riley, name me one prominent Democrat that has celebrated the death. And I find it very interesting. You've made a living attacking transgenders. You've made millions of dollars across the country doing that.
I didn't
if
ask
you
for
truly
this.
care about, if you, I didn't
didn't
listen.
ask for
I'm
the
sorry
position
you
that
lost
I'm
your
in.
friend. Okay, hold on a second. Yes, in this case, you've made millions of dollars profiting, going across the country. You've made a lot of money and you've made a name for yourself. Nobody knows who you are as a college swimmer unless you're attacking transgenders. Now, if you care about children, then why have you not criticized Donald Trump? If you care about children and women, then why have you not gone after Donald Trump for not bringing out the Epstein files? If you care about children, why don't you talk about gun control? I'm happy that transgender is out of that volleyball tournament, okay? But there's more important things that we should be talking about, and you've profited off of attacking transgenders with your hatred towards transgender people. Nobody knows who you are as a college swimmer. People know who you are because you go around the country attacking transgenders, Riley. That's who you are.
Actually, what she's done, Brian, very heroically, in my opinion, is she's gone around the country defending women's rights to fairness, equality, and safety. Something that I'm very surprised to hear
Piers,
that you, on the left, do not wholeheartedly endorse and agree with.
Pierce, let me respond to what you just said.
Sure.
If in fact Riley Gaines, by the way, Pierce, I've had this conversation on your show about transgenders.
Yeah.
I don't think transgender women should be competing with women on the playing field.
So you agree with her?
However,
Navan is the #1 rated business travel platform. It is a one-stop travel shop where employees book on their own.
I do, but here's my problem with Riley.
What are you
she
talking
doesn't
about?
talk about the. Let me explain. She doesn't talk about the non-release of the Epstein files and real victims of sexual abuse. She doesn't criticize Donald Trump. She doesn't talk about how flags weren't at half-mast after children are massacred in schools.
Do you
she
talk
only
about, okay, let me ask
talks
you.
about transgender.
Let me ask you, do you talk about...
It's so funny because hang on, you followed everything that I've ever said on any topic ever.
Hang on, Riley. So, Brian, your position is that unless you talk out publicly about every single issue that is important in the world, then it disqualifies you from talking about the issue that you not only care about most because it happened to you, but you are passionate about because it protects women's rights. Is that your position?
Pierce, here's my position. You don't have to talk about every single issue, but when the second leading cause of death in children is gun violence, you probably should bring that up. When we talk about MAGA Republicans who have talked about the Epstein files and horrible abuse, Maxwell was one of the largest sex traffickers in the world. And the Donald Trump administration have sent her to a club.
Why does Riley Gaines have to do all that? Why does Riley Gaines?
Because she says she cares.
No, Riley Gaines cares
because she
about.
Said, let me answer.
Riley Gaines cares because a very, very tall, muscular, powerful male called Leah Thomas said suddenly, who was a very moderate, unsuccessful male swimmer, suddenly said, "I'm a woman," and then began destroying women in the women's pool. It was clearly grotesquely unfair, unequal, and actually dangerous. And we saw the same thing happen in a boxing ring in Paris in the Olympics.
Like to be able to
and for Riley to be condemned by you,
that'd be super cool.
For Riley to be condemned by you because she doesn't also talk about other issues is absurd. Anyway,
first of all, that's not even true.
You know what? Critical. We'll come back to this. I'm just going to hold the panel here for a moment. A brief timeout. I've been joined by Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Nancy, welcome back to Uncensored. We're just having a kind of slightly insane debate, in my opinion. But there's a lot of insanity flying around at the moment. One of which is the utterly appalling spectacle of so many on the left openly, brazenly, proudly celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. How have we got here as a society?
Well, it's insane. And you can just see in the previous debate, you saw two grown men, Democrat men, screaming, yelling on your program at two women. Riley Gaines is one of the brightest, smartest, youngest minds fighting for what she believes in. And we want to encourage that, not discourage it. I don't want to discourage anyone out there to prevent them from speaking up by getting yelled at. I was yelled out yesterday in front of Don Lemon at the steps of the Capitol, and all we want to do, I'm a rape survivor. All I want as a rape victim is to ensure that men aren't in my bathroom or Riley's bathroom or in the shower next to us. That is dangerous and it's uncalled for. But to see those men on your program yelling at the women who are just talking freely, talking in a sane and normal manner, trying to have a colloquy, trying to have a national conversation.
Nancy Mace, please be quiet. I do not like these Nancys, Nancy Grace or Nancy Mace. I can't stand either one, to be honest. D Major said he sounded like he enjoyed saying that LOL. Oh, he did, honey. He was ecstatic. He loved it. Okay, he reached euphoria. Please pay attention, honey. He had to get it off his chest.
And they're being screamed at. That's how we got here. And until the left and until the Democrat Party acknowledges their role in this, it's not going to get better. And I have to tell you, it's terrifying right now to be a conservative. I am carrying my 6-hour P365 everywhere I go. I have armed guards everywhere I go. I can't even go to the grocery store alone anymore. I can't even walk my dog without a gun because I have many.
Now, I don't believe her ass. Y'all hearing this? Do not believe her. Girl, stop. Now you're doing too much. She said she can't what? She can't walk her dog without a gun. Girl, I'm not trying to hear any of it. Look at D Major's no good self putting the smallest violin. Danger said, shut the F up. Measure Man said, get the F out of here. Said always blaming others. Oh my goodness, y'all are awful in this chat. I'm glad y'all not mad at me. Dervis said it's terrifying that you're a demon. Well, darn. Goodness, I am done. Keith Jean said she's a stunt queen. Let's continue. Y'all are something else.
So many on the left, Democrats, a lot of transgenders who are emailing, calling, trying to show up at my office, threatening to kill me, my children, my family, my elderly parents, father of my children. And I'm not going to
No, you know she's lying, right? Y'all know she's making this all up. The father of your children, your elderly parents. Girl, how do they even know your parents are still even alive? How do they even know who the father of your children is? Have they done a whole background check on you? Stalked you maybe, perhaps? Like, girl, please sit down, lady. You're lying.
live in fear. I'm not going to be terrified, and I'm going to figuratively fight back, figuratively push back, and protect my safety. Today, I'm going to lead a floor debate against Ilhan Omar. Lucas was asking about a prominent Democrat celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. They're everywhere. But let's start with Ilhan Omar, who's right down the hall from me right now, and I'm in Congress at the Capitol, who celebrated the murder and political assassination of Charlie Kirk by saying that people who were mourning his death were full of shit, excuse my language, but no, and is posting content celebrating his murder, calling
Nancy, beloved, the call is coming from inside the house. Okay? Somebody please call the right and let them know that the call is coming from inside the house, beloved. It isn't the left you need to be worried about. It's your own. All right? That's what you need to be worried about. It's your own. It's not the left. Honey. The call is coming from inside the damn house. Okay? Please pay attention. These people are acting crazy, and I'm not here for it.
Charlie Kirk a terrorist. I can't even with these people because they just won't tell the truth. And like, I love having a debate. I love coming on and having a conversation, even when we disagree, Piers. But there's never anything ill or negative or like, I don't want to bring harm on anybody, but We have to tell the truth. And how do you unite with people who refuse to tell the truth, who continue to lie? I don't know how you continue to have a conversation with these people. We have to shun them.
Could we use your house to trial our 24-hour bathroom upgrade system? We're looking for homeowners within valid states.
Do you have to be careful? You know, I watched Pam Bondi trying to explain that hate speech is something that the Attorney General believed should be pursued with the full force of the law. And I recoiled from that, as did many on the right, because actually the First Amendment protects hate speech. It doesn't protect incitement to violence or acts of violence, but you can say hateful things and be protected under the First Amendment. And it was pretty staggering to hear an Attorney General who didn't seem to realize that. Some have criticized you because you have a hotline. You've encouraged people to call in. And, you know, if people are saying bad things about Charlie Kirk and so on, there will be people on the left going, well, this is just complete hypocrisy, because really what you're operating with this is a form of the very cancel culture that you and others on the right have always professed to hate. What do you say to that?
Well, this is a cancel culture, and I have voted and I've supported legislation that protects the freedom of speech, that protects the First Amendment. I've been out there on the Epstein files too, protecting survivors, by the way. There are Republicans out there who are very vocal, like myself. But free speech has consequences. And I'll quote Ilhan Omar, who tweeted that you have the right to say anything you want. You have the right to those opinions, but there are consequences. And if you are around children, my particular focus is on the educational system, those that are teaching your kids or in the classroom, and those who are making.
I'm sorry, but isn't she the same woman who told Ilhan Omar to go back to Somalia? Isn't she the one that told that woman to go back to Somalia? Like, girl, please sit down and stop calling that woman's name when she's not there to defend herself.
Healthcare decisions for people. I don't want the bias and those who are celebrating the murder of a political class, a political side that they don't agree with. They should not be making medical decisions for others, and they should not be indoctrinating our kids. We look at Tyler Robinson, 22-year-old kid who self-admittedly murdered Charlie Kirk because he didn't like his opinions and thought he was full of hate. They're condoning this. They're endorsing this. He was radicalized, we believe, at school and in the education system. We can't allow that. I mean, when I was growing up, teachers were just normal. You had no idea what their politics were. And now kids are forced to say, what are your pronouns?
See how she always tries to find a way to bring the trans community into it? Like, lady, give it a damn rest, okay? And then she said that Tyler Robinson, they believe he was radicalized by the school. Well, they believe he was radicalized by anything other than himself and his family. That's all MAGA. Are y'all listening to this bullish? They think he was radicalized by the school. Well, here's the thing. If he was radicalized by the school, then we're in trouble. If this young man was radicalized by the school, we're in trouble. Because that means there's a whole lot of other students that are going to be radicalized by the school. If what she's saying is to be believed, she sounds insane to me. He was not radicalized by the damn school. He was radicalized by the right. Okay? Yeah. He was radicalized by the right. And here's the thing. The young man supposedly didn't like Charlie Kirk, but he loves Nick Fuentes. And we all know that Nick Fuentes didn't like Charlie Kirk either. Okay, so maybe that contributed to some of the reason why he did what he did. But at the end of the day, yeah, he leans to the right also. See, they don't want to tell y'all that Tyler Robinson, the gunman, the assassin, he leans to the right, just like the rest of his family, like his grandma said. The grandma said they're all MAGA. That young man just didn't like Charlie Kirk because he favored Nick Fuentes. He said he thought Charlie Kirk wasn't radical enough. That's what they're saying. They're reporting that he said that he actually didn't think that Charlie Kirk was radical enough. So he favored Nick Fuentes. Now that's what they're reporting. I didn't know that young man in real life, but that's what some of the reports are saying. So with that all being said, she needs to stop trying to act like he was radicalized at the school. Honey, how many kids go to school in this country? So we have to worry about any of them at any given moment or all of them at any given time being radicalized. Y'all see how she's sitting up here lying? I just want y'all to pay attention, because one thing about the right, baby, they're never going to take accountability for a darn thing. Now, even Obama said the other day, at least Obama said the other day, that both sides, okay, are accountable or responsible for certain things that go on. Okay, but the right, they never want to take any type of culpability. They always gaslight, deflect, and then turn around and play the victim. Even when the same things they've said and done to others is done to them. They're hypocrites, just like Lucas said. I'm going to fast forward past this because I'm tired of listening to her. She ain't talking about nothing.
And can you define 100 genders? And, you know, they're being influenced and inspired and radicalized, and this can't be happening.
Evidence point.
Shooting apples. Oh, you know what'll fix that? New fireball blazing apple. I was wrong.
To this person being radicalized by the far right, you would not hesitate to say this was a far right assassination, and you would go on a massive rant about it. So there's a double standard there,
No,
right?
you're wrong. You're wrong. I don't do that, Piers. You can look at my social media. No, you're wrong. Here's what I do. I call out political violence on both sides. If you recall, Piers,
That wasn't my point. No, hang on. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if he was a radical right, if he'd been radicalized by the right, I don't think you would be saying people shouldn't be talking about the radicalized.
And let me say this too. At the end of the day, Nancy Mace, you all remember that before they found out who the shooter was, she actually was talking about the death penalty. Do y'all remember that? She was going in hard in the paint, talking about the death penalty and all of that stuff. And then when she comes to find out, hold on, let me go to the video right here. Shout out to Conscious Lee. I love Conscious Lee's work. And here he is talking about her no good self. So I'm going to unshare this screen and go to another share. I want y'all to hear this in case you missed it. Because Nancy Mace, like, sit down somewhere, lady. Like, nobody cares what you have to say. At least I don't. I darn sure don't care what she has to say. At all.
There's new information that came out. Oh, a lot of them are switching up their tune. This is what Nancy Mace saying now. We know Charlie Kirk would want us to pray for such an evil and lost individual like Tyler Robinson to find Jesus Christ. We will try to do the same. Before I even read this next tweet, let me show y'all a clip of what her energy was on before she found out it was old Tyler Robinson.
I'm going to say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. They probably, all the kids of every conservative in the country call panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Now, what do you tell your kids, Nancy? That the person that took out their beloved Charlie Kirk was a Bible-thumping, gun-loving Republican. What you gonna tell them kids? Before I even get back to this tweet, can y'all look at how all these folks is real quiet now? They switching up their tunes. When they thought it was somebody else, they had a whole bunch of vitriol, a whole bunch of retaliation, wanting to spin the block and all that. But now they found out it's Tyler and they evoking God. Jesus Christ. She went from wanting to spin the block now from being holy sanctified. She went from wanting retaliation for wanting to pray for him. She said, we truly believe if Tyler Robinson had ever sat down across from Charlie, the great debater, the man of faith and grace he was, Tyler wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Look how much the tone changed when they found out this the son of a former sheriff that was raised in a Christian conservative home in Utah. Jesus. They are doxing individual, quote unquote, leftist creator. And this man was born in a conservative household around firearms in Utah, and y'all threatening HBCUs and creating a whole climate that says that this person did this and this person did this and this person. Now what? Now what? Y'all still gonna do what y'all do because y'all mind made up, huh? We know. Education is elevation. Let's keep our mind on swivel right here, man. Stay woke. No matter how much they tell you woke is bad, stay woke.
Well, y'all heard that, honey. So that's what I'm trying to say. They'll try to make all these excuses, and then when they find out it's one of them, now they want to act like blame it on everybody else. Okay? Yeah, please make it all make sense. Okay, so D Major said, look up Marion Bowser and Nancy Mace. It was wild. Well, it says September 2025, there's no public information linking Marion Bowser to U.S. Representative Nancy Mace. The person likely being sought is D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who recently had a heated and widely reported exchange with the Representative Mace. Is that what you're talking about, Muriel Bowser? The mayor? Yeah, I may talk about that later. Because I do like that mayor. Okay, so now let's get back into it, honey, because this is all crazy. We're about to be out of here in a minute, people. Okay, yeah, that's who you talk about, Muriel. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss that later.
You're wrong. I don't do that, Piers. You could look at my social media. No, you're wrong. Here's what I do. I call out political violence on both sides. If you recall, Piers,
that wasn't my point. Hang on, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if he was a radical right, if he'd been radicalized by the right, I don't think you would be saying people shouldn't be talking about the radicalization.
The reason why, Piers, I ever bring up the radical right is because the right never takes responsibility, literally, for anything.
But nor is the left.
They blamed Donald.
He's not lying. The right never takes responsibility. Isn't that what I literally just said? They never do. And then Piers is sitting here talking about neither does the left. That's a lie. That's a lie. The left will accept accountability. Okay? Piers, like, please, dude, you don't even live in the U.S. Please just shut the hell up.
Nor is the left.
Listen,
the left, having said this for years,
Piers,
now is doing exactly the same thing. I saw Jimmy Kimmel I saw Jimmy Kimmel go on a rant saying this guy was a MAGA guy, the shooter. Complete lie.
Piers, I'm always consistent on this issue. It doesn't matter whether it comes from the right or the left. It's wrong. We need to call out political violence on both sides of the aisle.
But we should also be unafraid
yeah,
but Brian, you're missing my point. We should also be unafraid to call out radicalization where we see it as a primary motivation for these assassinations.
Well, I thought they did call that out as the primary motivation, and they said that it was the left when it's really the right. Isn't that what they said, Piers? Like, do you even know what you're talking about? D Major said, oh, I read that already. Well, D Major, thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Queen Hewitt says, and they are humanizing Tyler as well, staying on code. Yes, that's what they're doing, beloved. They're sitting up here acting like he was radicalized at the school. Like, then they said he was radicalized by his trans partner at first. I mean, they're just saying all this stuff, trying to take the blame off of him, but he's the one who did it. Like, if y'all are mad, be mad at the person who's responsible. Don't be mad at other people for what they're saying and how they're expressing their thoughts, views, and opinions. Be mad at the killer. It's so hard for them to be mad at somebody who looks like them. Do y'all see this? I hope y'all are paying attention. This is the right we're talking about. It's very hard for the right to be upset with someone who looks like them. That's why they bombed Wall Street and Rosewood and blamed it on black folk doing stuff. Because anytime they do something themselves, now let's blame it on black folk, even though we didn't have anything to do with it. That's why those HBCUs got threats, and that's why that man was found hanging in that darn tree at Delta State University. That's my opinion, though I can't prove it. That's absolutely what I think. Okay, now I'm going to skip past this so we can get back to what Lucas has to say, and then I'm out of here.
Imagine your team only bigger, much bigger. Imagine a dedicated.
So do you think this shooter was a radical leftist?
I think this person was, as the investigators are saying,
that he used.
I'll come to you in a moment, Lucas. As the investigators are saying, and as the governor is saying, the governor has hit a very, in my view, sensible tone throughout all this. As they've all been saying, all the evidence is pointing to a young man who was radicalized to the left.
Okay, so let me respond to that real quickly. So first of all, even if that is true, I totally disagree with what Megyn Kelly said. If you're somebody who wants to kill somebody because you disagree with their beliefs, then there's something wrong with you. You are crazy. So Piers, even if that was true, now we know he comes from a conservative Mormon family. Yeah. I don't really care what his political affiliation is. I'm grateful that his father, and a transgender, by the way, who so many two people on this panel continue to attack, there's a transgender that we should be thanking.
The two people on this panel haven't even got a chance to say a word yet.
Just letting them
talk.
All right, let me bring in the two women here. Let me bring in Jillian.
They are.
Hang on, don't all talk at once, please. Can the two men shut up for a moment? Jillian.
There are so many lies here. I don't know which to tackle first. The reality is that we are here because of the very things you guys are doing in this moment. You refuse to engage in any sort of intelligent dialogue or debate. You just name.
I want you all to pay attention. She said you refuse to engage in any intelligent dialogue or debate. So she's low-key calling them stupid. Okay, she's calling Lucas and the other guy stupid because she don't like what they said. See, that's what happens too. When you enter into a debate or a conversation, whatever you want to call it, and then you have opposing views and opinions and the other person can't debunk what you're saying or they don't want to address it because it's too truthful for them. So now they want to start throwing insults. That's what they do. They start spewing insults. That's what she's doing. Talking about they can't have an intelligent conversation. Like, girl, sit down.
We're bigots. We're racist. This is exactly how we got here. This kind of.
Who said anything about bigots or racists? Did y'all hear anybody on the panel say that? Who said that? Nobody said it. She's clearly projecting because she knows that's what she is. Nobody said anything about bigots or racists, did they? No, they didn't. Okay? She just told on herself as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I know that's what you are, Jillian. That's why you made that offhanded comment about slavery. But you had the nerve to adopt a black child. I feel sorry for that child.
Othering, this kind of demonization. If you guys want to have an intelligent conversation about something that I have said, something that Riley has said, or something that Charlie has said, I'm absolutely here for it. But in this moment, you are very clearly showing the world that you are an integral part of this problem. And it's irrelevant what side of the aisle you're on. It's a human characteristic of demonizing others, and you both have it.
All right.
Demonizing others or telling the truth about others. Demonizing others and telling the truth. Hold on, let's get into it. Goodness Rated Bo said Marlon was doing that. I agree, beloved. Let's get into it. She said demonizing others. Okay, I'm sorry, Jillian. Isn't that what you were just doing? Wasn't she demonizing others herself? The people who spoke unkindly about Charlie Kirk, didn't she demonize them? Okay, I'm sorry, like, girl, you're such a hypocrite right now. You're such a hypocrite. So it seems to me like people on the right, some of them think that they can say whatever they want. Nobody's supposed to counter them with facts, receipts, or contrary views and opinions. Okay, bringing up the lies that they're telling with truth. That's what you're not supposed to do, apparently. Okay, now she's sitting there trying to play the victim, talking about being demonized and vilified. Who demonized you? He told the truth. Lucas said that you made that comment about slavery and then you went and bought a black child. And that's what you did. So shut the hell up. Hold on, I accidentally clicked off of it. Let me go back to where I was. Okay, there we go.
You on now to say that I have not been a voice for the Epstein victims.
So you don't want me to.
You are an integral part of this problem, and it's irrelevant what side of the aisle you're on. It's a human characteristic of demonizing others, and you both have it.
All right, Riley.
Can I just?
Yeah, I mean, I would just like the opportunity to defend myself for a second, because Brian, what you said is like the most ill-informed thing I've ever heard. Number one, to insinuate that I'm not a good athlete, as if that even matters. Okay, I'm one of.
Here she goes putting words in this man's mouth, because that man did not say she wasn't a good athlete. He said nobody knows who she is as a swimmer. They know her because she goes around bashing people in the trans community. He said something along those lines.
The fastest Americans of all time. Can you name me 3 female swimmers?
The reason why.
Why does he need to name her 3 female swimmers? See, this is the same ish that Marlon was doing last night. Are y'all paying attention? This is exactly the same bull-ish that Marlon was doing last night. Now she's asking him to name 3 female swimmers for what? What is your point, lady? You know damn well he doesn't know 3 female swimmers, because nobody does, except the people that are friends with those swimmers. We don't know who female swimmers are in this country. We don't pay attention. Now, if you run track or something, or you box, maybe football, basketball, other things like that, nobody's checking for swimmers, okay? Nobody's checking for female swimmers anyway. Maybe the male swimmers. All right. We know about Michael Phelps. But I'm just saying nobody's checking for no darn female swimmers. And she's sitting here asking him, can you name 3? Girl, you knew he couldn't name 1. He probably couldn't even name you if he hadn't been sitting there. It's like, please sit down somewhere.
I said nobody would
know who you are. Can you name me 3 female swimmers? If you're going to talk about how no one knew me, can you name me 3 of the top female swimmers in this nation or this world?
99% of the country.
How does that even make sense? Okay. Gaslighting and deflecting. You can't debunk what the person said. You have no valid response. You don't want to address the issue. So now let me just throw him off, or let me just gaslight and deflect and ask him something that really has no relevance. Because even if he named 3 female swimmers, I want you all to pay attention to this. If he named 3 female swimmers, then what? What's that going to prove? Not a damn thing. Okay? Not a damn thing. Just like last night when Marlon asked me if Obama bombed those citizens and I said no and he actually did, that still didn't prove a damn thing. Did that prove whether or not Charlie Kirk, he was right about Charlie Kirk or I was right about Charlie Kirk? It still didn't prove nothing. So it was unnecessary and obtuse. Okay? Retired federal police officer says, Queen, great job in the debate yesterday. Great way to kick ass and stand your ground. You make me proud. Thank you, beloveds. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. And thank you for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, let's keep listening to this, honey, because it's all crazy.
99% of the country can't name 3 female swimmers. The only reason why we know who
Okay,
you are
precisely.
is because you're
So
transgender 24/7.
why did my athletic ability, which again, one of the fastest in the nation and the world, really, for that matter, when I was.
Okay, lady, who cares? This isn't about you. Are y'all paying attention? Now she's talking about her stats when she was a swimmer. Like, nobody cares. This is not about you and your ability to swim or not. Okay, it has nothing to do with that, lady. Okay, stop trying to toot your own horn and pat yourself on the back for something that has nothing to do with you personally.
Was competing. Why did that have anything to do with anything? Are you saying only the best female athletes, only the best of the best, only those who are winning Olympic gold medals deserve fairness? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what he's saying, fool. If that's what he said, you would have heard that when he said it, but he didn't say it. You did. See, now she's trying to put words in his mouth. This is what people do. Now, I want you all to really, really, really pay attention to this, because when someone is losing an argument, that's what they do. When you're losing an argument, what do you do next? You start asking asinine questions, okay? You start putting stuff in the people's mouths. That's what she's sitting up here doing. That's what some people do. Lady, just take your L, because I promise you it's coming. And here's the thing. When the man said that nobody knew who she was as a swimmer, they knew her because she's always going around, saying stuff about the trans community. He wasn't saying she couldn't swim. She wasn't a good athlete. The point he was trying to make, that she clearly is too stupid to catch. The point he was trying to make is, like, you're only famous because you've been constantly attacking the trans community. Because clearly he has a problem with her doing that. That's his point. Okay? That's his point. That she's attacking people. And I find it interesting because when Jillian is sitting there talking about demonizing and vilifying people, isn't that what they both are doing? Isn't that what they both are doing? Because she's attacking all these trans people, but at the end of the day, it's only one trans person that she was swimming against that beat her. And she didn't have to race them. She should have just turned it down, because I would have. I'm not about to get into a competition, a sports competition with a man. But so somebody that was biologically born a man, I'm not about to do it because I know I don't stand a chance. But she chose to get in it. So don't cry now because you lost. And then now you want to go around and going in on all these other trans people who had nothing to do with it. Okay, but you want to talk about somebody demonizing and vilifying you and want to sit there and play a whole victim. Nah, I'm not here for it.
Saying, make it clear to me,
No,
please.
what I'm saying is,
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to continue on now to say that I have not been a voice for the Epstein victims.
So you don't want me to respond to your
ridiculous.
question?
This is a recent tweet that I put out that I got a lot of flack for. I said, I serve Christ, not a politician. That
Why
being
won't
said,
Donald Trump release the Epstein files?
we are going to act like the proven harm and abuse of
Because he's in
Epstein
them.
cause never happened. His victims deserve so much better than that. There is no line to walk when it comes to sex trafficking, especially of children. So to slander
Riley, may I ask
me
you a question?
and say that I have not been a voice for the Epstein victims is ridiculous.
Okay, Riley,
I have been a voice for
Riley,
the
may I
women
ask
in
you a
Muslim
question?
countries, in Afghanistan, in Yemen.
Girl, why are you listing all the stuff you've done? I promise you, nobody cares. Nobody. And then Limitless said, not Matt tonight. LOL, moon face. Lucas said something about that on his channel about her face. And I was rolling.
In South Sudan, who are under Sharia law, who don't get to get an education, who don't get to go to the gym, who don't get to go to the doctor. Like, I have been a voice for all these women. So to sit here and act like you know me, number one, is ridiculous and entirely defamatory.
Okay, Riley, can I respond? Okay, Riley.
Now that I'm done.
Understood.
Absolutely.
Let me ask. Okay, so Riley, when Donald Trump bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms on the Howard Stern show, are you willing to condemn Donald Trump right now on the program, or the fact that he's a liable sexual abuser and a 34-count felon? He bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms. If you care, which I believe you do, by the way, Riley, if you care about young women, are you willing to condemn Donald Trump for going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission?
I think any man who violates a woman's privacy, safety, fairness when it comes to athletic competitions is detestable and condemnable. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Hey, Piers, this is why I bring this up. I'm so glad she said that. She went back to transgenders and she didn't answer my question. So I will try to ask it again.
I said
Riley.
nothing about
Are you willing
transgenders.
to?
It's telling
She
that
said
you insinuate when I'm
you
talking
said
about
fairness and
fairness,
sports.
and I'm talking about
Women.
women.
She won't answer the
May I
question.
address the galvanizing that was made by Jillian?
Any
Piers,
man.
can I just finish this
Any
real quick?
man's
She won't
spaces.
condemn.
So that
She won't
answers-
condemn Donald Trump for anything.
You sound like a little child who's throwing a hissy
I think
fit.
that would
Piers,
include.
Piers, she
To be
won't
fair, I
condemn
think that
this.
She
includes.
won't answer the
Piers.
question.
All right, let me bring in
She won't
Lucas.
answer the question.
Let me bring in Lucas to
Any
respond.
man.
Fair, I
Let
believe
Lucas
that
respond.
To be fair, she didn't name him by name, but I think that would include Donald Trump. But to bring up as far as the galvanizing, which is, I think what we're witnessing is gaslighting and political schizophrenia at its peak. Because when we talk about galvanizing, we have to look at the body of work that Charlie Kirk did, whether it was to once again dehumanize Black people, to say that Black women were low IQ and non-deserving of their positions, right? Whether it was to bastardize as far as a Black American lexicon, whether it's the perversion of woke, or whether it was the perversion of Black fatigue, something that was crucial to Black history, even to this day, whether it was the perversion of CRT. I think it's absolutely diabolical to say that this is coming from the left when Charlie Kirk spent most of his life to do that. I think when he talks about Black death, when it's Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, all these people that he vilified, all these people that he could care less about. But you want to know something? There is not one mention of Daniel Schaefer. I mentioned Daniel Schaefer. White man killed, police brutality. It's not one mention.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I reported on Daniel Schaefer too. Do y'all remember when I reported on him? That's the white man that was at a hotel with his girlfriend. The police came and the poor man was ordered to get down on the floor, and he did. And he's crawling because they told him to crawl to them, and he's doing it. And as he's crawling, his shorts start sliding down. So he reaches to pull up his shorts, and they shot that man and murdered him because they said they thought he was pulling out a gun. Well, why did they wait to see? Okay, that might sound crazy to some of y'all, but at the end of the day, if they saw the man's pants coming down, they should have had common sense to know that maybe he's trying to pull them up. And first of all, why the hell did y'all have him crawling to you on the darn floor when he wasn't armed? Okay, yeah, Daniel Schaefer. I remember that well because I reported on it like I said. But let's continue.
Of Jared Lackey on any of his posts. I mentioned Jared Lackey. White man tased to death. Police brutality.
Exactly.
There is not one mention of Kelly Thomas. There is not one mention of Ryan Whitaker, killed, shot in the back, white man, because he was playing video games too loud. So to say that they care about, police brutality, they care that it's not galvanizing. They are galvanizing. Charlie Kirk and other people like him are galvanizing their audience to, ironically, to promote a white victimhood complex on a certain group of white individuals who feel disassociated with society currently.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And they're doing that to make themselves the victims. They want to so desperately act as though people are oppressing them. People are coming after them, that they have to live in fear and be terrified like Black people used to do. That's all that is. So they need to sit down with the bullshit, because nobody's threatening that lady to the point that she can't walk her darn dog without getting locked and loaded. Okay, at the end of the day, these people are all sitting up here gaslighting, projecting, and deflecting. Okay, sitting up here acting like they didn't do ish. Another thing about it is when they say something like about those memes and stuff that they were mad at Lucas about, and then Lucas brought up the other memes about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and Trayvon Martin and all that they didn't have a problem with, because they sure didn't have a problem with it because we didn't hear him say anything about it or whatever. They weren't holding panel discussions for that because clearly they were pressed about Lucas and what he said. That's the only reason Piers invited him on here. Now, if you didn't like this young man and what he had to say, Piers Morgan, why did you invite him on your show? Oh, because you thought you were going to set him up, line him up, and then y'all going to sit up here and drag him, and he's not going to speak up for himself, but you didn't know who you was dealing with. Now you done effed around and found out. Okay?
All right, Brian, hold fire.
Same thing that they argued that was happening
I heard
to black
you, Lucas.
people. They are now prophetizing.
All right,
I just want to ask Jillian.
You made your point.
I just want to ask Jillian a
Brian,
question,
I'm going
if
to come
that's
back to you in one moment. We're going to bring in another guest now, Jeffree Star, who's a cosmetics influencer.
Now, he's a racist too. Jeffree Star, he's like one of the biggest YouTubes ever, I do believe. But at the end of the day, he said the N-word. And Lucas is going to call him out on it. He's going to sit there and lie and say he didn't say it. But baby, we got the video proof. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much indeed for joining me, Jeffree. You've gone viral. You've gone viral this week for this TikTok live.
He encouraged everyone to speak about their beliefs, whether he believed them or not. Am I a Republican? No, I'm a person. Because I'm standing up for someone that passed away, I'm now being called names in the chat. This is what's wrong with a lot of you people. You will never get far in life. You are sick in the head. Someone just said they're unsubscribing from me. Thank God, please. Because if you believe in they and thems, you're part of the problem. If you're so stupid enough to go against science, please unfollow me.
Jeffree, what happened to you as a consequence of that going viral?
So about 100,000.
Before we listen to the lies he's about to tell, let's talk about Jeffree Star faces backlash for Velvet Trap promo photos featuring women of color in a mouse trap. Okay, and I want to tell you all something. See, this is why I got pissed off when Tisa Tales called me or said I look like a drowning rat and a hamster. Okay, because when people say stuff like that to you, if they're a black person who says that, then they're likely a colorist. And if they're a person like Jeffree Star who says that, then they're a racist. Do y'all get where I'm going? That's why when somebody said, oh, you sure are mad because she said you look like a drowning rat and a hamster. Yeah, I am mad. Okay, because I don't look like a damn drowning rat or a hamster. That's for number one. But because of my long locks and my dark skin, she would equate me to a drowning rat or a hamster because that's what colorists and racist people do to dark-skinned people. So that's what Jeffree Star did. He posted a picture of them in a mouse trap. Jeffree Star is once again facing allegations of racism after unveiling new promotional photos for his latest beauty show or launch. Last week, the YouTuber released the marketing photos of his new lipstick formula called Velvet Trap. One of the images featured a woman of color on her knees in a mouse trap. Hey, it's super weird to use imagery of a black woman in a rodent trap, especially when you have a history of calling black women rats. But like every other terrible thing you do, this will inevitably be forgotten until the next launch. That's what somebody posted. Another person said, that remember that time at Jeffree Star called at Makeup Shayla and at Jackiana a rat? And then he makes a whole ass campaign with a black woman in a rat trap, but y'all want to believe he's a changed person. Okay, it's all a hot mess. It's all a hot mess. Okay. So anyway, like I said, and he also used the N-word. I heard it with my own ears, because Lucas has the video. Now, he's not going to play it on here, but he does absolutely have the video. So Jeffree can sit here and lie all he wants. We know what you said, buddy.
People have unfollowed me this week for speaking about Charlie, the entire thing. I can't believe so many people in America are cheering and praising his death. It's honestly disgusting. So while I was live streaming, I found out about what happened in real time, and it was so horrifying and devastating. I've followed him for a few years. Do I agree with everything he's ever said? Of course I don't. But I loved a lot of what he said, and it resonates with me. But the good news is hundreds of thousands of more people have followed me, and they're on the exact same page. So I don't care about the following. It's not about that. I just had to speak my mind.
Have you been surprised, shocked, depressed by the reaction. I mean, I'm genuinely stunned. I thought I'd seen everything in the news game going back 40 years. But to see the outpouring of gleeful celebration of a young man's murder for expressing his opinions, and a young man who would deliberately go into the opposition territory, college campuses, and get people to line up and say, come on, argue with me in a respectful way. The idea that he gets murdered for doing that all the time seemed particularly perverse to me. Were you?
Exactly.
How did you feel about it?
I was honestly horrified because I'm someone that's always been outspoken. I love the truth, and for some reason, people are afraid of the truth. I've been told all week, he would have hated someone like you. No, he would have respected me because I'm my own person and I know how to have my own thoughts. So when I saw it in real time, I was completely devastated. I can't believe someone that has an opinion is now dead. It's disgusting.
Yeah, Brian, I mean, when you hear that, do you find it disgusting, the reaction that Jeffrey's had?
Yeah, absolutely. 150%. I think anybody who celebrates Charlie Kirk's death is absolutely disgusting. And I applaud you for, doing the right thing and being a good human being and saying this is horrible. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve this. I feel for his kids and his family. Doesn't mean we have to agree with everything Charlie Kirk stood for, which obviously I don't. But for the people that are attacking you on social media, I mean, I've gotten death threats as well. It's despicable, and I feel for you. We should be able to have a respectful dialogue about Charlie Kirk, and I would certainly welcome that with Jillian, and I have some questions for her if we have the time.
Well, ask her now.
Okay. Well, Jillian, hi, Jillian. I agree with you. I think respectful conversation and political discourse is good. It's one thing I have in common with Charlie Kirk. Here's what I would say, ask you about. The day Paul Pelosi was bludgeoned with a hammer, the day after that, Charlie Kirk went on his podcast. He made jokes about it. And on his show, he asked his listeners to donate to the person who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. Are you willing to admit that that's also wrong? Because Charlie Kirk did that.
Now I want y'all to pay attention to this. Did y'all know about that? Did y'all know about Charlie Kirk doing that? When that man was bludgeoned, did y'all know about that? Yeah, I didn't think that was funny at all. That man's 80-something years old, hitting the head with a darn hammer. That was real low down. So, but you're supposed to be a Christian, and that's what you did. But we're supposed to feel sorry. Like, sit down somewhere.
100%. If Charlie did that, I 100% agree with you. I haven't seen that. A lot of the stuff that I have seen and experienced with Charlie, he advocates consistently.
No, here we go with the bull crap. All these people who love that man and came so hard for him, all of a sudden, when somebody brings up, they done followed him for years, let them tell it. They've seen all his speeches. They've heard it all. They've seen all the clips. But as soon as somebody brings up something unfavorable about him, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I didn't hear it. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, where's the lie? I thought he lied. Yeah, sit your ass down somewhere.
Against violence. So if he did that, I am in 100% agreement with you. And in fact, came prepared today to talk about this kind of violence and othering on both sides. And I could talk about I believe it was 2016 when Donald Trump talked about people who believe in the second.
Now I want y'all to pay attention to what she's doing. Now she's trying to deflect so they can get off that Charlie Kirk topic real quick. Now that he didn't air it out that they weren't expecting. Okay, they don't want to hear that. They don't want him talking about that. So now let's bring up Donald Trump. Like, girl, sit down somewhere. We're talking about Charlie Kirk today. Okay, we're talking about Charlie Kirk today at this point.
I would say, ask you about the day Paul.
The Second Amendment, going out and taking care of some of these politicians who didn't agree with him, because I think
Charlie Kirk has said a lot of nice things about a lot of people, but I'm sure he said a lot of nice things about people, but that doesn't take away the bad things that he said also. I played those videos on my show yesterday. I didn't take them out of context. These are
okay.
I didn't take them out of context. Okay.
And let me tell you all something else too, just so we're clear. All of these idiots who try to make the asinine excuse and argument that, oh, you're taking out of context. Nobody's taking anything out of context 9 times out of 10. A lot of those clips you see, some of them may not have the full context, but at the end of the day, a lot of those things that he said, you don't need to know the whole thing. Once you hear some of it, like for example, when he said that Dr. King was awful, when he said the civil rights movement was a mistake, do you need to hear anything else after that, before or after? I think I do. Because you said what you said. Okay, you said what you said at the end of the day. And then that whole thing about him talking about Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now, I'm not a fan of either three of those women. But what I will say is they are all very highly educated as far as I'm concerned. They went to Ivy League schools, okay, at the end of the day. So to say they don't have brain processing power, yeah, I'm not here for it at the end of the day. And then that's right, DJ The Truth said we were better doing Jim Crow. Right, when people were getting lynched on a regular basis, because we're still getting lynched, pay attention. But I'm just saying, but they just call it a suicide these days. But back then in Jim Crow, when people were getting lynched, strange fruit hanging from trees, and he's talking about we were doing better back then. I'm sorry, how? Did he think we were doing better because we were segregated? Is that what he thought? Because you know what? If that's what he's talking about, he might actually have a point. He might actually have a point, because one thing I do know is that during segregation, Black people were making money because Black people kept their own money in their own community. But once it was segregation ended, now you're spending your money in the other communities. And now our community is sitting on E. Okay, y'all might want to marinate on that. Let's continue.
So explain to me when Charlie Kirk says that blacks were better off in the 1940s and that the Civil Rights
I
Act
actually
should not
can
have been
explain
passed.
that in detail. I can explain that in detail. There's an hour and 22-minute long podcast where he dives into it. And what he goes on to talk about is that the intentions of the Civil Rights Act were fantastic. The desire for equal opportunity, but that because it was so broad and so vague, it made room for things like demanding equal outcomes. He cites a case where teachers in New York have to take a basic standardized test, okay? And this started in the 1980s and the 1990s.
Look at the look on Lucas's face. Lucas looks bored, and I don't blame him, because I am too. I wish he'd shut the hell up. I want to hear what the last thing Lucas has to say, and then I'm out of here.
Unfortunately, Black and Hispanic teachers didn't pass at the same rate that whites and Asians did. Now, instead of looking at why is this happening, where is the disparity, how can we fix this, what's broken with the system, years later, New York as a state was sued because these teachers failed at disproportionate rates and had to pay $1 billion. He's turning around saying, this is crazy. This is insane. I happen to agree. That's crazy. And it doesn't fix what's actually broken.
The Civil Rights
He
Act
talks
should have
about
been
how
passed,
This is the point. Using outlier cases to paint a broad spectrum of a group of people.
He outright says that first of all, Charlie doesn't even believe in race. He goes on to talk about how it's a social construct. He goes on to praise Martin Luther King's position that we shouldn't judge men on the color of their skin, but on the quality of their
You mean the same Martin Luther King who he vilified?
I know she didn't sit up here and say that he went on to praise Martin Luther King after he said Martin Luther King was awful. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? LB says she's parroting talking points. She's doing something. Lying is what she's doing, if you ask me. But let's let her keep talking, because she thinks she's cooking.
Do you know what he vilified him over? Let me answer you. Let me answer you, actually.
Also, is this the same Jeffree Star that said the N-word and called black women nappy-headed?
You don't want the
answer.
answer.
I know this can't be the same Jeffree Star.
Let me answer
I've
you
never said
about
that.
MLK.
Please stop lying.
You don't.
We literally
want
have it on
the
video.
That's all they've
answer.
done this whole
His
show.
top
Jeffree.
criticism of MLK.
You know what? I'm going to do a video for TikTok about Jeffree Star telling black women, whatever you do, you might want to think twice before you shop with him, because he did say the N-word, called y'all rats, okay, called y'all nappy-headed. Did y'all not hear about this? I'm going to make sure they hear about it, because some of them probably still shopping with this man and don't even know the vitriol that he obviously has for us, because in the video when he said the N-word, if I'm not mistaken, he told somebody to beat that ninja up or something like that, okay? Please make it all make sense. And now all of a sudden she's talking about Charlie doesn't believe in race. Girl, bye. I don't even see color. Isn't that what that sounds like? Chabu.
He
This is
literally just
actually
made
the most
that up.
interesting. Oh my God.
Google it.
His top.
I hear what
criticism
you're
of
saying,
MLK.
Jillian. I absolutely understand what you're saying.
You
and I
don't
would
let
argue
me
that it's
tell you
permissible.
his top criticism. His top criticism.
How are you
is
going to
that
tell
he's
me
the
what
first-
he said? We've seen what he said. I'm very familiar
Clearly
with
you
Charlie Kirk. I was a part of
haven't.
Turning.
Clearly
I
you
was literally a
haven't.
part of Turning Point USA at one
Clearly.
point. So I'm very familiar
Okay,
with it.
so tell me
But the
what
problem
did
is
he-
the
what were his
scrutiny.
top-
The
what were his top
scrutiny that.
criticisms?
The issue that I have is that the
You will
scrutiny
not
that
let
you're
me
levying.
say it because it's totally antithetical to your narrative.
It's not about
his top
antithetical. It's
criticism
about as
is
far as
that-
fact checking.
Then let
Did
me
you
say
fact
it.
check
Then
anything
let
that
me
he
say
said?
it. I
Did you
listened
fact
to
check
it this
anything that he
morning.
said? I didn't ask that. I asked, did you fact check anything that he said?
Every
Piers,
single
can this like
thing.
be?
Now y'all know she's telling a darn lie. Now y'all know she's telling a darn lie. No way in hell I'ma believe that. He asked her, did she fact check everything he said? And she's talking about every single thing. Girl, sit down some damn where. You were friends with that man. You revered that man. You believed anything that he said, no matter how he said it or who he said it to. You didn't fact check a damn thing. Shut your ass up. You did, you wouldn't be sitting there caping for him so hard, acting like he told nothing but truth. Okay, the proof is out there. I showed it. All right? So to be sitting here lying is absolutely nonsensical and asinine, in my opinion. Now, I want you all to look at the look on Jeffree Star's face right now. Look how he's looking at the amazing Lucas, honey. He is pissed off because Lucas said he said the N-word and stood on it 10 toes down. And then when he tried to deny it, honey, Lucas still went in on him. Now watch this. He's going to say something else about it. And Jeffree says, that's been debunked. No, it hasn't, honey. We got the receipts. Okay, Lucas played it last night. All right, please miss us all with it. We heard it. You on the video saying the N-word. And I think you said it more than once, about twice.
You did.
Yeah, I don't really know what we're getting to because every time she tries to explain to you, Lucas, you just talk over
Apologies.
her.
Go ahead, by all means.
Well, no,
Tell me your perspective of what
you don't
you
seem
said.
to understand the concept of a debate. Riley,
Jillian, I'm here to listen to Jillian, and I'm trying to have a respectful conversation with her. But Jillian, do you understand
There's
why
nothing
there are a lot of people out there that are
about
very?
this, Brian. There's nothing respectful about
What
how
did I say that
either
was
you or
disrespectful?
Lucas
What did
have
I
been
say
this
that was
entire
disrespectful to you?
Why is she chiming in? Nobody's even talking to her. The man's trying to have a discourse with Jillian. Why is Riley opening up her mouth?
What
the
did I
fact
say
that
that
number
was
one, you want to come from
disrespectful?
my swimming abilities is crazy. That is
I
crazy.
did not
work.
come.
Oh, Lord, she is still on that? She's still on that? Hold on. Now, I thought, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Don't the right, when they have people whining on the left, don't they call them a term? Don't they call them snowflakes? Isn't that what they call them? Correct me if I'm wrong. When the left start whining and complaining, don't the right call them snowflakes? What is she sounding like right about now? What is she sounding like right about now? She keeps on bringing up this darn swimming. Girl, you don't swim anymore, for one. And for two, why are you so pressed that that man said what he said? That was a whole hour ago. The show's almost over, and here you are, still bringing it up? Okay. Please sit down somewhere at this point.
Okay. The fact, okay, you don't understand why I said that, and I'm going to try to explain it to you again. The reason why people know who you are is not because of your swimming. I'm sure you were a great swimmer.
Brian,
it's because
I
you're
did
on
not
TV
ask for
attacking
this.
transgenders.
I did not want to be doing this. This is not where I want to be.
You don't accept money for making speeches?
Okay.
You don't
not
accept
where
money
I
to
asked
make
to be,
speeches?
but it's people like you,
Do you know how
who
much
talk so
money it
idiotically
costs
that continue
to get into
give
these
me a
conversations,
platform.
Brian?
It's not even the words that I'm saying; it's the words that you're saying that give people like me,
So somebody
sane,
forced you.
common sense,
All right,
normal
understood.
people.
I do find. I do.
Look at the look on Lucas's face, you all. Let me remove this overlay. I want y'all to see the look on Lucas's face because he's loving it, just like I am. When the snakes all start fighting against each other and battling and all this that they're doing, I love it. And so does Lucas. Look at his face. Now, Deanna said, why would this amazing Lucas guy be a part of Turning Point? Well, he was a part of Turning Point because he was told, and this was quite some time ago when he was younger, of course, but he was told basically that they're working and helping people in the Black community. And being the revolutionary-minded person he is, I guess he wanted to lend a hand. When he found out what was really going down, that's when he got out of it. Okay? You can't knock somebody from that. He was trying to help his community. At the end of the day, we can all get fooled by grifters, no less.
I do find, Brian, your line of attack on Riley utterly inexplicable because.
And let's not forget that I do believe he was recruited by a black person. Wasn't it Officer Tatum who tricked him? I think so.
She did not.
I disagree.
She did not create the situation. She lost a place
Is
in the top
her?
race because somebody thought it was a good idea for a 6'3" male to compete in her race.
I don't feel that way.
That's what started this.
I don't feel that way at all.
I want to ask one thing of Jeffrey before we finish this. Jeffrey, there was an allegation from Lucas there that you've used the N-word. Do you want to respond to that? I think it's fair that you respond.
I've never called a black person that. That's been debunked. And the second thing you said, I've never said before. So please stop lying.
Have video evidence of it.
It's just the same.
But I think the
lies
point that I want to make, just lastly, is the hypocrisy of the Republicans. Well, I think that the hypocrisy of the Republicans, when it comes to individuals like Jeffrey, when we have a party that's for marriage between a man and a woman, but then they celebrate, or in some cases, deride what happened with David Rubin and his marriage. I think it's hypocritical when it comes to Riley Gaines. I think it's hypocritical when it comes to Riley Gaines.
You want to see the video?
I'm talking about trans as Fox News hires Caitlyn Jenner, as we have Blair White and how
Caitlyn
the right
Jenner's a
refers
friend of
to
mine. So what's your
Blair
point?
White as she.
I was with Dave Rubin last week.
Is Caitlyn Jenner a man? Riley Gaines, is Caitlyn Jenner a man?
Yes, and I tell Caitlyn that he's a man. I tell Caitlyn I will call you by Caitlyn. I will not use she, her pronouns.
I don't believe you, Riley. Why would you need to tell Caitlyn that Caitlyn's a man? Don't you think Caitlyn knows what Caitlyn is? Okay. And then you're going to tell your friend, as you call them, that you're not going to call them by the pronouns. Don't you think that's disrespectful? Don't you think that's disrespectful? Because even if you disagree with them, but if you're their friend, wouldn't you just appease them, by showing them respect? Like, I don't believe her. I think she's a liar who lies. I think all of them up there are lying except for Lucas. I think everybody on this panel is lying. Lucas is the only voice of truth. Shout out to you, Lucas. Shout out to Lucas. There will be no Lucas slander on this channel, okay? Y'all make sure y'all follow him. He's thebomb.com.
Caitlyn says to me, I don't need you to
You're
use
using
her
tokens.
pronouns when
This is what
talking
the
about
right
me
does.
because
Whether
I don't
it's
need
black
you
tokens,
to affirm
whether
me.
it's
I
trans
do what I
tokens,
do because I'm
this is the
affirming
issue.
myself. I don't need someone else to affirm the life
How do
that I
you,
live.
how
That's
do you
what Caitlyn
affirm
says
yourself?
to me.
How do you talk about as far as the trans issue, as far as men going to the women's bathroom while befriending someone who is literally a part of that problem?
I can be
let me ask you, Riley,
cordial
are
with
kids
someone
born trans?
and still
Are kids
acknowledge
born
a
trans,
problem.
Riley?
That is a foreign concept to
Riley,
you
are
and
kids born
Brian.
trans?
Clearly, not me.
Riley,
not me.
are
Not
kids
Charlie
born
either,
trans?
by the way.
Are
Not Charlie
kids
either.
born trans, Riley?
Can I just say,
Are kids born trans?
Can I just have 20 seconds? Can I just have 20 seconds just to say one quick thing?
You've had the whole show, Brian and Lucas. Y'all talked the entire time.
Okay. Excuse me.
Apologies.
Excuse me. I care
Release
about
that
kids.
Cyclops.
I care about women. Riley, I'm willing to believe that your heart is in the right place. Okay. I also can I just finish my 20 seconds?
Listen, what's so hilarious to me is Riley and Jillian sitting up there at their little Karen selves, sitting there complaining and whining about the men talking over them, but they're talking over the men too. They're talking over the men too. See, that's another thing they'll whine about. Oh, he's talking over me. Oh, I can't get a word in edgewise. But you've been talking over people the whole damn time yourself. Please sit down somewhere. That's just like last night. I might have talked over Marlon a bit, but he was talking over me too. Y'all don't remember, or did I just imagine it all? Okay.
Statement.
You talk about misogyny.
Okay.
You are the most condescending,
I stand with women.
mansplaining individual.
I'm condescending, and you support the guy who bragged about grabbing women by the genitals.
Okay, you know what? We began this debate
What I
by
was-
talking about the importance of trying to all come together and have some unity and public discourse back to how it should be, and we've ended up as a squabbling barnyard. I'm going to leave it there. I thank you all for your contributions. Thank you very much.
Now I want you all to pay attention to something, because Lucas pointed this out last night when he was reviewing his own, video when he was on that panel, right? Lucas said he didn't think about it till later, just like I didn't think about some stuff till later last night when I watched a video of mine. But Lucas said he didn't think about it till after the fact. But Piers said something about it turned into a barn of scoffing animals, or turned into a barn or something. Lucas was like, he low-key tried to call him an animal. Okay, yeah, that's what they do. They throw in their little slick jabs and try to say it in a little slick way so you don't catch on to it. So you don't catch on to it. That's what he did, okay? That's what he did. A hot mess. Okay, so Jay McClinton said Lucas has disagreement day and you can call in to talk to him. He had people calling in last night. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, DJ The Truth said, wow, Jillian is reaching. Isn't she though? Al B said, see, there they go, manipulating linguistics. Exactly. You know that's what they're going to do. Okay, you know that's what they're going to do. Jeffrey starts sitting there lying. Jeffrey starts sitting up there lying, talking about he's not going to, he didn't say the N-word. It's been debunked. Dude, we literally heard you. We literally heard you. Lucas got the receipts. And that's another thing I love about Lucas too. Because Lucas would tell you, baby, if he said something, he got receipts. Just like the Queen. All right? So y'all to pay attention. Pearlie said, Queen, bring Lucas on, honey. I might see if I can. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. That was a very interesting conversation because I love the way Lucas dragged them, okay? I love the way he said what he said and stood 10 toes down and didn't bend, bow, or break. And at the end of the day, he didn't hold back. I bet they weren't expecting that. You know what they probably thought? They probably thought, look at Dangerous being messy, talking about you can't handle the truth in my Jack Nicholson voice, okay? Absolutely. I think when they brought Lucas on there, that they had no idea that he was standing 10 toes down. You see, they probably thought that he was going to come on there and be apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said those things. I don't know why I made those memes. Whatever was I thinking? I should be ashamed of myself. I repent and beg thee for forgiveness. Is that what they thought he was going to do? Because that ain't what he did. He came on there and dropped the mic on them several times and then hit him with the scripture to boot. Okay? Y'all can't play with that, man. Y'all wasn't ready, honey. Piers Morgan, you wasn't ready. You just wasn't ready. Okay? You just wasn't ready. Like Pensacola said, this ain't play, Queen. You already know. Okay? You already know, honey. Lucas let them have it. I was here for all of it, and I love it. Okay? I love it. Pearlie said, Queen, Piers should have brought Marlon on. They will love him. Oh, you know they will. You already know they love Marlon. He'd get up there talking about how Charlie Kirk was such a great person and agreeing with everything he said. You don't know why people saying he's racist. It's all crazy. Child, sit down somewhere. I absolutely cannot. Charlie Kirk is exactly what Lucas said he is. Period. All right? Period. Now, with that all being said, I'm out of here. Listen, I love you all to life. I don't know if I'm coming back tonight or today because today is Friday, last I checked. And I got some things I need to do. I might come back. I don't know. But if I don't, y'all pray for the Queen, y'all. Pray for the Queen right now. I have so much on my plate, so many things I'm trying to do and get off the ground, y'all. I am stretched thin. I'm stretched very thin, beloveds. But when I get it all together, you all will reap the benefits and rewards. Just know that. Okay? Because what I'm working on is for you. Okay? So anyway, that all being said, I love y'all. Listen, y'all know I get my ever-loving life, honey, from my subscribers. I seriously do. And let me tell y'all something. That's why I go live every day. Y'all know how it pains me if something comes up and I can't go live. I literally feel sick. Okay, I literally feel sick. I have to come on here, okay? So anyway, love you all to life. I hope you enjoy your strong end, not the weak end, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Okay, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I want to thank you all again for the contributions to the channel last night. And here's the thing. I got so befuddled when Martin just up and left that I forgot that I had written down the names and all of that. But I really, really do appreciate you all. And I'm glad that you all enjoyed the debate, even though it didn't go quite the way I wanted to. But I'm glad for everybody that tuned in. I love you all to life. I thank you all for your support. I also thank you for the Cash App donations, PayPals, and all that. And we're about to get it popping. Okay, because we got some things coming for y'all. Y'all just sit back and wait. All right, because I'm working on some things for y'all, seriously. So with that all being said, listen, and thanks to everybody that has a membership. Listen, also, I will be going live Sunday, okay, with your members only live, True Crime. And I might be back on the spiritual channel next week. I'm praying on it. Y'all pray for me and pray with me at the end of the day. Okay, I need to be on there. All right, so anyway, and I'm also thinking about having a webinar in a couple of months. Okay, we'll see what's going down about that when we get back on the spiritual channel. Okay, so anyway, Everybody enjoy the rest of this day. You all remember, please, whatever you do, keep the Most High first in your lives. You can never go wrong. All right. Love you all to life, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got